It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
The New York Giants and head coach Brian Daboll announced Tuesday that the JAXSON DART era begins now in the Meadowlands. After a miserable performance against the Chiefs, Russell Wilson has been benched in favor of the late first-round rookie after only 3 games. Can Dart bring Big Blue back to life and save Daboll's job as the 0-3 Giants face a gauntlet in Dart's first start against Justin Herbert and the undefeated Los Angeles Chargers? In an electric, high-scoring Monday Night Football matchup, the Detroit Lions outlasted the Baltimore Ravens and QB Lamar Jackson 38-30 behind the dominant run game of Jahmyr, Gibbs, and David Montgomery, who each had 2 touchdowns and one of the best offensive lines of football. Even without his longtime coordinators and some of his coaching staff, can Dan Campbell keep the Lions as cream of the crop in the highly competitive NFC North? Or does the defense that has given up 78 points in 3 games need to make some additions like the Packers, who beat them in Week 1, did with Micah Parsons? And before we break down the AL and NL wildcard and divisional playoff races in the last week of the baseball season, we will crack a 6-pack with Speedy and make some of the Week 4 picks on another action-packed, live deep dive on the biggest stories in the business on Jabba and the Mouth.
The Mets are going to give him a significant. They're going to have a ton of money to spend. Why not put it in one of the top 3 offensive players in the league? We're going to be looking at Aaron Judge and saying that he can't win the big game. Michael Jordan said, I played 82 games. You don't see LeBron doing that.
This is a game where you got to go perform.
I told you, Giant fans, that Saquon Barkley, at this point,
I'm gonna fight them all. A 7-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off. Take it down.
Say whatever you want about Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. Really?
And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. And back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette. And the name's coming from my eyes. Can't get it alone.
Let's do it.
You're listening to Jabba and the Mouth.
631-672-3108 is the number to call. You're listening to Jabba and the Mouth. I am the Mouth himself, Mr. Errol Marks. My co-host, Mr. Flamethrower, Jabba Chamberlain, the Speedster, as the producer / co-host of the show. Executive producer, Aaron Fishman, you just heard him. On the board, Mr. Tommy Poops, or Scoops. Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Check out all our shows throughout the week, including Jabba and the Mouth, every single Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. All you have to do to tune in and check out our local listings for all our shows is go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Yesterday, I was talking about how great the weather's been. It's getting cooler. It's completely different weather. We're coming to fall here in Long Island, New York. And then today we had an 80-degree weather. It was raining. It was up and down. I don't understand this weather. I don't get it. We're here in Long Island. I'm trying to figure it out. It's not just Long Island. It's New York as a whole. And you go a little bit upstate, Buffalo, it's about 60, 65. A friend of mine lives up there in Buffalo. He loves the weather right now. But he said he saw flurries in the morning, this past morning. So at least they're getting some kind of snow. I don't think we're going to see snow until probably January or February. But nevertheless, Jabba, I know it's probably around 80, 85 degrees over by you. I don't get the weather in Nebraska, and I definitely don't get the weather here in New York. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, we're Jekyll and Hyde over here. So yeah, it's humidity is still here. I just had a a buddy from Arizona. He's like, I left and it was 108. It was nice. And then he goes, I get here, this is miserable. It's humid. So I guess that dry heat is something you get used to. But yeah, we've actually had decent weather as far as no rain. But I just I was watching the Ryder Cup stuff, and it's supposed to rain like today, tomorrow, and Friday.
It's supposed to rain all weekend. So good luck to the golfers playing over there at Bethpage Black. I don't think they're going to really enjoy it. It's one of the hardest golf courses to play on.
How far is that from you guys?
Not far at all. Probably around 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Okay.
It's not far. And what I've heard is all the hotels pretty much here on the east side and even half of the west side, they're all practically packed. You're not finding a hotel or motel anywhere around Long Island or the Long Island or Nassau area practically all week, from today all the way on till Monday, because people are staying after Sunday before they leave and wherever they're going, back to North Carolina, California.
Well, yeah, not only do they have this, but in Nassau County they have the Junior Ryder going on right now too.
Yes, they
do. So you guys are getting both of them.
I think Tiger Woods is playing. Tiger Woods' son is playing in the Junior Ryder Cup. So
Junior Ryder Cup?
Yeah, I think so. So
I would assume he parked his yacht over there.
He always does.
He's done. Yeah, he's done that before.
He always does. And by the way, if anybody wants to find a golfer or any superstar player that is playing anywhere in the Nassau and Suffolk area, and you want to look for a yacht, Freeport, that area right over there at Amityville Harbor. That's where they're planning their boats. So if you're looking to find a way to get autographs, that's where you go if you want to find Tiger Woods' boat or any of Phil Mickelson. I know he has a yacht as well. So anywhere you want to look for a yacht in that particular area, that's where you go. Amityville Harbor, or I would say Freeport, that area right by the water, the Nautica Mile. So that's where to go, baby. Anyways, I want to say something before the show. And I really want to get into this because over the last 24 to 48 hours, my ear was popping. All day yesterday, I was trying to figure out if I lost my hearing. And one of the main reasons why was this show with the Dial It Up segment with Fish, okay? He screams, Dial it up, and my ear just blows up. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but after the show, I was trying to get my hearing back. And throughout yesterday, all the way towards the night, I couldn't get my hearing back. It was really, really bad. And honestly, I really thought I wasn't going to get my hearing back. And it's not even funny. I know you're giggling, Fish, and you think it's funny. But I was thinking today might not go to work, just to go to the ear doctor because my ear wasn't coming. My hearing wasn't coming back. It was just popping. I heard an echo in my right ear. But late last night, probably around 10:30, my hearing came back. It felt like there was just like a bridge. My uncle told me it could be some kind of wax. And when it vibrates, the sound vibrates in your ear, it could move the wax. But I'm so clever.
Is it like if you had swimmer's ear?
It sounded like that. I sincerely did not have barely any hearing out of my right ear. It completely went. And I really thought I blew my eardrum. And then all day yesterday, I was wondering what was going on. People would call me, and I had to go to my left ear because my right ear, I barely can hear, and I was hearing echo sounds when I was hearing people. So now tonight, I did not forget to wear my earpieces. So I have like these ear blockers, which I bought online a couple of months ago, and I never wear it because they're uncomfortable. But now I have to wear it because I don't know how loud somebody's mic's going to be and how it's just going to completely blow my.
Oh, I like the one for fireworks where you just like stick in your ear.
That's what it is, and it has a little end where it has like a little squeak of sound where I can't hear myself through the mic. I hear like a humming through my earphones, if it makes any sense. So to me, it's safer, and I'm going the safe route tonight. I'm not blowing my eardrums. I promise you guys. I'm not going to say, hey, I'm not going to be doing a show tonight or this week because my ears are popping and I can't hear through the headset. So that's why I'm here.
Errol, decades of DJing and like being in these big, loud scenarios, and it's me with my NBA Jam
It happened
voice.
after the show and Dial It Up. It happened right after that. I'm just
How are
saying.
you not surprised when I say it? You know it's coming.
I understand that, but I don't know how loud you're going to get. And a lot of people, when you're on the mic, and sometimes your mic's a little up, and I have a headset that is connected to a volume key, so I can go as high as I want. Sometimes when people are speaking, what was it, Monday,
Right.
his mic was a little lower.
It was low.
So
Yeah.
I brought his mic a little higher on my side, and that was why I blew my eardrum. So truth be told, I couldn't hear yesterday practically the whole day. And I was thinking about putting peroxide in my ear because that's what my uncle said. Put peroxide in your ear and let it sit for 15 minutes, and it'll eventually absorb whatever's in your ear and open up a hole where you'll be able to hear. So I didn't do that, and I got a chance to put together my very beautiful shoe collection holder. So I have one of them set up right now. It looks pretty damn good. One of the shoes are actually popping out right now, but I'll fix it during the break. But we have a great show lined up for you guys. A little bit later in the show at 8:45, we will be talking to Chat Sports Steelers and NFL analyst Jack Sperry. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when Jack comes on the show, you don't know what you're going to get, but you know when he speaks to me, he comes at me with fire. And for some reason last year, he loved the Russell Wilson situation, and he loved the Justin Fields thing. And then when he heard Aaron Rodgers was going to the Steelers in the middle of the preseason, really during OTAs, that he was signing a one-year contract with the Steelers, he was all over social media saying, Super Bowl or bust. And I don't see a Super Bowl no matter what. I'm just speaking the truth here. But the Steelers are 2-1, but they're really bad 2-1, just my opinion. Speaking of a really bad team, the New York Giants, NFL insider Ian Rappaport reported Tuesday that the New York Giants have named JAXSON DART their new starting quarterback, benching Russell Wilson after only 3 games. Wilson struggled in 2 of the 3 games this season, all losses, and was embarrassing in the red zone versus the Chiefs in Week 3. Wilson threw for just 160 passing yards and 2 interceptions in Week 3 and was near the bottom of the league in quarterback rating and completion percentage. SNY's Connor Hughes reports that JAXSON DART was already good enough to be the starter in Week 1. The Giants held an open competition during training camp. Dart, who the Giants traded back in the first round to select this year's in this year's NFL draft, excellent in limited time during the preseason, completing 32 of 47 passes, 372 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, good enough for a 113.1 passer rating. Dart will make his debut against the undefeated Chargers team that boasts an elite defense that is 8th in yards allowed per game and 4th in points allowed per game so far this season. I love JAXSON DART. I absolutely think that this kid is going to be special. But to go and put him in a game that I don't believe the Giants have any chance in is just ludicrous. And I understand Daboll is trying to save his job. I understand that Joe Schoen wants to make sure that this guy is the future of this organization. But why not wait 1 more week where you're going to the New Orleans and playing the Saints, which are one of the worst teams, could be arguably the worst team in the NFL. Now, I understand the Kansas City Chiefs have not looked good. They're 1-2, and they're a really bad 1-2. And Andy Reid, you see his frustration on the sidelines when he's running after Travis Kelce and bumping chests with him, not in a good way, in a bad way. You know that this is not what Andy Reid wants. Nevertheless, Russell Wilson did not look good. And the Kansas City Chiefs defense is not as good as it's been over the years. They're older. And Jones might be at the tail end of his career. This defense, yes, they have some good young defensive players on the Kansas City Chiefs defense, but they're not as good. And they're very predictable over the last and first 3 games of the season. So the Giants and Russell Wilson, who looked absolutely unstoppable the week before, throwing over 400 yards and looking like the old Russell Wilson, just laid up a lousy goose egg against a subpar defense at best. And I say that being fair to the Kansas City Chiefs because they've been good year in and year out since Spagnola's been there. But again, the Giants are looking for some kind of pleasure for the Giant fans because there's nothing pleasurous about this team right now. Nothing. I mean, even Dexter Lawrence, who's been a sensational defensive player over the last couple of years, has he looked like the Dexter Lawrence or Sexy Dexy of the last 3 seasons? I would say no. Now, that doesn't mean that Dexter Lawrence is not having a decent season. He's not one of the elite defensive linemen. He's just not making the noise that he has made in the first couple of weeks over the last 2 or 3 seasons. And the Giants right now are trying to find that success that they need to keep their coach in business. Because right now, Daboll is on the hot seat. McDaniel from Miami's on the hot seat. There's a lot of coaches right now that some people don't believe are going to last by the end of this season. But right now, JAXSON DART is a spark. He gives them that electric personality, a guy that is one of the 3 amigos, as Winston came out during the preseason calling him and Mr. Cutlets the 3 amigos or whatever the hell they called themselves. The Giants have something in Dart. Now, is he going to throw darts against a Charger defense, which has one of the best secondaries in football right now? I don't know. That puts a lot of pressure on this kid. And Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in the league when it comes to figuring out young quarterbacks and making them do things that they're uncomfortable doing. We have seen Jim Harbaugh do that in Stanford. We have seen him do that. And remember, this is an offensive-minded coach, but always brings that defensive kind of pressure we've seen him do with Michigan. Look at what he's brought to the table over there in Michigan. Aiden Hutchinson's one of the best defensive players in all of football right now. Who recruited him? Jim Harbaugh did. So if you go back and you look at some of the past teams, even San Francisco, the 49ers, they were the elite of elite defenses when Jim Harbaugh was there. And also, they had Colin Kaepernick, and Alex Smith was a different quarterback when Jim Harbaugh took over that team. Right now, I look at the position that the Giants are in. This is going to go really, really bad very, very quick. And what the Giants are trying to do is let the fans know that they're going to put this kid in position now that they have their star offensive tackle back in Andrew Thomas and hope for the best against the Chargers. Maybe he pulls out something out of his ass in his first game. The Giants pull out a win, knock off the Chargers, they look unstoppable in the first 3 games, and then the Giant fans have something to cheer about. And then Daboll is kind of not taken off the hot seat, but kind of put back on the bench. You can ride the bench right now, and we'll see how it works with JAXSON DART for the rest of the season. And then after that, if he comes up and pulls off a win with the Chargers, then you go to New Orleans. And if you beat New Orleans, automatically you're 2-3. And it's all because of JAXSON DART. And that's the way the Giants are looking at it right now. But here's the problem where you're putting this kid in a position to fail. Neighbors, as good as he looked last week, has not been the same Neighbors he was in his rookie season. Their offense is relying now on Scatterbo, a guy that is a rookie running back who to me is a bona fide number 2, not a number 1. You lost Tracy. Tracy could be out a significant amount of time with the shoulder injury. And I just think this is a lot of pressure on a kid that an offensive line besides Andrew Thomas is really, really bad. And again, you look at the ability that this kid has, and I think he reminds me of quite a few quarterbacks I've mentioned. Now, he doesn't have the arm strength of a Patrick Mahomes, but he can move outside of the pocket like a Josh Allen, but he's not as big as a Josh Allen. And to me, he's got the speed. And again, I'm going to go back to Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones didn't look fast, but he was. I would say that about JAXSON DART. When he gets out of the pocket, he doesn't look fast, but he really is. That takeout speed, when he gets to that second notch, he's a lot faster than he looks. And Giant fans want to be happy because you see Fish, he's excited. I have all these Giant fans sending me texts and messages. Oh, my God, we're going to see JAXSON DART a lot earlier than you said, Errol. Well, how much earlier? 1 week? I said week 5. He's coming in week 4. I just think that the position that they're putting him in is a position to fail. Because I think the Chargers are that good right now. How many teams do you think are better than them in the AFC? I don't think Baltimore is anymore after what I saw them pull off against the Lions on Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills, did you see what they did against Miami? They almost lost against Miami. The best team right now in the AFC that's looked the best in the first 3 weeks are the Chargers. And that goes to Jim Harbaugh in his rookie season as the Chargers head coach had 11 wins. 11-6 last year in his rookie season with the Chargers. Yes, they lost in the playoffs. And again, the Chargers are not a playoff team. But Jim Harbaugh is a playoff coach. And when he figures out how to use Justin Herbert and this offense and extend them, and that's why they added Hampton in the offseason in the draft, giving them that bona fide running back that can catch the ball in the backfield and do the things that he likes to run like he ran in Michigan, well, this is a completely different team. And again, you go back and you can argue whatever you want, Giant fans. Well, you just hate on the Giants because you hate the Giants. Yeah, I don't like the Giants. I can't stand the New York Giants. Out of all the New York teams I do not root for, the Giants are probably number 1. I can't stand them. And the Giant fans are typical Yankee fans. They go out there and blabber their mouths thinking that they know everything, and they're going to say this because I'm a Jet fan and I'm a loser. Facts are, they're in the same division as the Philadelphia Eagles, who I root for as well. And the Giants, over the years, have had their doubts against the Philadelphia Eagles. And now you're putting him, this kid, for the rest of the season, in a division where you have Washington for 1 more game and the Eagles for 2. And that's so much pressure on a young kid that I just don't think is ready. And again, everybody keeps talking about what he did in the preseason. He did that against third-string teams, third-string players. Well, I understand his numbers are sensational, and you play who you're playing. But that is the preseason. 372 passing yards and 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions and 113.1 passer rating. All the Giant fans saying, we got something special. I think you got something special. We'll not know until we get a chance to see him. But is this the team right now? Is this the roster you're going to trust that is going to protect your franchise quarterback? And the answer, ladies and gentlemen, is no. Not a chance in hell. And if I was a Giant fan, I don't want to see him play against the Chargers. And that goes for any fan that's rooting for this kid, not just Giant fans. I'm rooting for this kid. I love this kid. I think he's going to be a special player. But again, the Giants are an organization that are forcing the numbers. They're forcing this because they know that if this doesn't happen, Daboll might be saying sayonara before the season's end. And the Giants have a lot of pressure, guys. They do. Because the Giant fans, just like the Jet fans, want to see wins. They want to see some kind of chemistry. And there is no chemistry right now. All we see is Malik Neighbors and Daboll fighting on the sidelines. Tracy going down flat-footed early in the game last week. And he's out. Scatterboo doing a backflip after scoring a touchdown and only giving you 60 yards. And Giant fans were like, oh, we've got the man. We've got the future. We got the future star running back on this team when he's 5'0" and 100. Giant fans need to, take a step back and realize that if Andrew Thomas don't stay healthy, this team is going nowhere. This team and this roster is not good. This defense, they've got pieces. But when the going gets tough, are they showing up in the games when it means something? And the answer would be no. Because when they're making plays and putting pressure on the quarterbacks, the games are over. They're over, Giant fans. So now, Ian Rappaport, Connor Hughes, everybody, all the media people here in New York, You're enjoying this because you're hearing Dart's name all over the bright light city over there at the Empire State Building as you see, Jackson Dart's colors of the Giants' colors up there at the Empire State Building. Well, yesterday was the Yankees because the Yankees clinched. But nevertheless, all through the last 24 hours before that, it was Jackson Dart in the New York Giants colors. I don't know if anybody knows that, but I do, because that announcement sparked all the Giant fans and the Giant followers to say, oh, we've got the future Eli Manning. We've got the future for Giants football playing this week. And I think it's going to slap him right in the face. I think it's going to hurt Jackson Dart, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on it, because remember, when you put a pressure in an early season on a young quarterback, it might hurt him, as we've seen over the last couple of years with some of the young quarterbacks the Jets have brought in. As we all know, Zach Wilson being one of them. Zach Wilson was a bona fide number 2 pick. Everybody from BYU and the media loved this kid, including yours truly. And the Jets started him early when I thought they should have kept him on the bench for one season and let him learn behind a veteran quarterback like a Sam Darnold. What did they do? They traded Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers. And what did Sam Darnold do over there at Carolina? Nothing. But the year after, he went to Minnesota, and you know what he did. So the Giants are in a position right now where they're reaching, but might be reaching deep inside of Daboll's pants. And what he's going to come out with? A dirty Q-tip right up his ass, because it's going to be dirty, because he's going to be trying to clean that little ass of his, because a tissue is not going to clean all the way deep inside of that hole, if you know what I mean, Speedy.
No, I'm not.
It's a deep hole.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there.
A deep one.
This is not analytics.
A hole in the ground. A hole in the ass.
Yes,
clean that ass.
This is not analytics, so I'm not going to go there. But I'm going to give a warning
Another toe job
to these Giants fans expecting this kind of like instant win spark. First of all, I've always been in the basis of like wins not being as big of a quarterback stat as people like to make it on, just kind of thing like you see with starting pitchers too. Like they're not always indicative of team success right away. This is a test that's going to be of Jackson Dart's development of smarts more than it is of his talent, because his talent is there, and I think you're going to see him stretch the field in a lot of instances, because as good as the Chargers defense has been, we saw Denver last week of a few big plays against them. We saw the Chiefs even in that second half have some deep shots being thrown. And I do think Dart will have some flashy plays, but what it'll be a test of is the other traits that are still being considered to be raw when it comes to seeing the short field, accuracy, making those quick throws, quick releases, not looking at your first read.
But you're not playing against number 2 guys.
I know.
You're not playing against number 3 guys. You're playing against number 1 guys.
Correct.
And they're licking their lips. That corner and those safeties, and this is a good secondary. They're licking their lips, because as soon as Jackson Dart steps back in play action or whatever, he steps back in a shotgun, they're going to be waiting for him or figuring him out. It's like a pitcher. You're trying to figure out what he's going to throw, figure out how he's throwing his curve, when he's throwing his curveball or his slider or his fastball. And if you read it right, it's out of the park. Same thing with football. Same thing with the corners and the safeties. They're trying to read how he sees the field. Once they read it and they spy on it, they're going to attack it. And it's a lot of pressure on a young kid, Speedy. A lot of pressure.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying I'm less worried about the timing a little bit. Yes, I agree with you. Maybe I would have waited a couple more weeks or something like that. But maybe the opponent to me doesn't matter as much as is how the game plan is for it. Like you saw, like you were talking about the Jets quarterback. Zach Wilson played against Sam Darnold against the Panthers in his debut. He played actually better than Darnold in that game. The Panthers won the game. So it's not going to be an indicative of what that season ended up being. Sam Darnold played against a crappy Lions team his debut and went off, but then he fell off the next couple of games. So I don't think the opponent is necessarily as indicative of it as how important the smarts are going to be with that team. Because you look at some of the top quarterbacks in the league now. Josh Allen made his debut week 3, I believe it was, against the Vikings, a team that people thought were going to be good that year, and he actually played well in that game. And Joe Burrow, he hung tough with the Bengals in a lot of his games in his debut before he got hurt, his season debut. So I don't think it's as much of a wins factor. And Giants fans cannot think that way. You can't.
First of all, you're comparing this guy, Jackson Dart, to an all-world quarterback. We don't know what Jackson Dart is. We know what Josh Allen is. And Josh Allen was a top 10 pick. Jackson Dart was the bottom feeder of the first round. The Giants traded into the first round to get him because they thought he was a early second round pick. So you're comparing him to Josh Allen, who was a top eight pick. He was Buffalo's 8th pick or 7th pick. So I think you're going a little overboard with this, trying to compare him to Josh Allen.
I'm not comparing the prospects.
But you are.
No, I'm not.
But you are.
I'm not comparing the prospects. I'm comparing the opponents and the situations of the teams when they were at the time. Lamar Jackson's an exception because he was already inherited a good team already. So him playing the second half of the season with the Ravens were already a talented team. Justin Herbert accumulated a roster that was probably better than the Giants, but was still probably flawed in a lot of areas at the time. And he still put up good numbers. He won Rookie of the Year. So there are circumstances that work for that. Maybe to a lesser extent. Let's go for the second and third tier quarterbacks. Jared Goff, I'll use him as an example. McVay's first year that he was there. He didn't play a lot with Jeff Fisher there. I give him a pass because he had terrible receivers his rookie year. And even worse than the Giants do right now. Year 2, he's inheriting Robert Woods. He's inheriting Sammy Watkins on this team. New wide receivers all at once. And he made it work in that offense in a year they weren't supposed to be that great.
But my thought here is even when you look at the Giants wide receivers, and it's not a bad wide receiver bunch. They have 3 decent. They have 1 great one. And the other 2, I mean, Slayton's not good. And Mr. Little Man, who runs around the field like a little flea, I mean, he looks good in certain parts of the game. But when he goes deep, he's not as fast as all these other corners that he's playing one-on-one with. And he's small, so he's not going to jump over these big, tall corners or safeties. So you can't really use him as your secondary wide receiver. You got to put him in the slot. So I automatically, the Giants are putting him in a position where he's going to fail. It's not the same thing as Josh Allen because the one thing Josh Allen has is size. This kid, even though when you look at his size, he's not small. He's 6'3", 6'4", but he's not the same, when it comes to, like, he's the size of Jabba. He's got a lot of meat on him. When you look at Josh Allen, he's like 240 pounds. He's solid. He's a solid quarterback. This kid is maybe soaking wet 215 pounds. So it's a different way of trying to compare a guy that can run you over like a bulldozer and another guy that has speed on the outside. Yes, we've seen some fun things in the preseason games against third-tier type of defensive linemen, not first-tier guys that are going to eat you up alive or try to eat you for dinner. That's the problem. So to compare this or try to figure out if this is the right decision for the New York Giants, the answer would be it's the wrong decision for the New York Giants. Absolutely wrong decision for the New York Giants bringing him in this game.
Kevin in the comment section, not a fan of how swaggy Dart is while having nothing done yet. Yeah, okay, fine. But we've also seen quarterbacks have that kind of personality coming out of the draft, too. And again, Lamar Jackson was that same kind of guy out of the draft, too. When everyone's like, oh, he's not a wide receiver. He's a quarterback. And he still had that kind of flair when he came in. Everything quarterback personality is different. We've seen the other extreme, obviously, with Shedeur Sanders and all the crap that he has done already. I think Jackson Dart's kind of somewhere in between that from a personality standpoint.
He's quiet. Yeah. That's the only thing I think you should be excited about is the guy doesn't go out there and blabber his mouth. He's pretty to himself. He's kind of like an Eli, but he has a flair to him. He smiles. He's a go-getter. The fans love him. He's dancing, he dances around with the guys on the sidelines. He likes the fact that him and Jameis have a good connection. That's something that you like about him, his personality. But that's something that Eli didn't have. At least we didn't see it out in the public end. In the locker room, everybody said that Eli was one of the funniest guys, one of the pranksters. But outside in the open, Eli was the quiet guy. He was the leader, but a silent leader. JAXSON DART is not a silent leader, but he's one of those guys that are not going to go out there and throw his teammates under the bus like we've seen Geno Smith do. He's not one of those guys. So that is a good sign when it comes to leadership. But putting this kid in a position, and I know what Giant fans are going to say, if he wins or even keeps this game close, oh, this guy's unbelievable. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, my God, the Giants made the right choice. This guy's sensational. And then what happens? Next week against the Saints, he lays up a lousy goose egg, and then the media's going to eat him up alive. I just think the Giants need to hold up on this. Be protective on your franchise quarterback.
That's why I was saying I much prefer smarts over stats right away, too, because I use the Sam Darnold example. He has this great game at his first game of the season against the Detroit Lions, or a crappy team, and all of a sudden the media is going to blow it up, and then he's going to have the freelance to do whatever he wants. I don't want JAXSON DART to have that kind of mentality because he can be a gunslinger. He could try to throw on the run, too. I care more about the smarts in the game. I don't expect the Giants to be even close in this game. I'm not expecting him to win. Wins are not a quarterback stat the same way as it is with a team stat, with a coach, as it is with a quarterback. I just want to see him have the accuracy and the decision-making to not go with his first read like we've seen young QBs do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Everybody's saying 5 games. It's tough going into what he is, but I look at it as a competitor, and if I'm JAXSON DART, I'm embracing this. And it for me as a guy going to be, the dude. What's a better way to come into it than into the fire, and understanding there's different viewpoints on it, as we've touched on a bunch of different sports, where, do you put him in that position is it going to set him back? Is it going to, excel him if he feels this type of pressure already in his first game, which he's already going to have pressure as it is, because he's not only dealing with, obviously, the Giants, but also the New York media, which we all know that can love you as much as it hates you. So you bring up a great point. It's like, okay, you're putting him in this situation. Are you setting him up to fail or succeed? And then also I see where Speedy's coming from. It's like, okay, put him in a situation, not necessarily a win or a loss, of how you do it. So, it's tough. As a competitor, I see, like, throw me into it. Feast or famine for me. And then on the other side, too, I'm like, damn, but if I go lay an egg, like, how is that going to affect my, my psyche? Not only because you got to answer the questions now. And it's like, how long can you use the I'm new guy, And so I just don't. It's tough. I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see what he can do and how he can slow the game down. But also, it's tough coming into the situation with the team that he's faced and feel like, does he have to do more than what JAXSON DART is? All right,
he's better than what Russell Wilson is, because I'm going to show you a clip of Russell Wilson in the red zone on the 5-yard line, and Russell Wilson had one throw out of bounds when there was a guy open in the corner of the end zone, and he gets an intentional grounding backing it up. He's got an empty set on second down on the 14, and decides, I'm just going to take it up the middle instead of letting the routes develop and just call my own number and fall forwards for a couple of yards. That might have been his most effective play on this drive. Then we get 3rd and goal from the 10. Not a competitive play. He doesn't think he can get out, and just throw it away again. And then 4th down, guess what happens? He can't get away. Just throw it away again.
And what do you think JAXSON DART's going to do?
I'll tell you, 1,000,000 times better than that, because that's not a competent quarterback play. JAXSON DART rolls out of that pocket. Russell Wilson proved in that drive that not only can't he roll out of the pocket, he knows that he can, and he's not even going to try it. No. Daniel Jones would try and he'd get hurt, and he would do all these things, get a couple of yards. Look, no, you're not arguing with me on this. That is why Daboll made this move. I think he should have went to Jameis Winston. I think he should have went to Jameis, because Jameis is the crazy type of guy that maybe you can't scheme a defense against. So that, like, even though they're the better team, maybe like Jameis like screws them up.
That guy, you were talking about Jameis Winston, the guy that, is better on social media than he is on a football field. That guy who probably throws the baseball
Jameis Winston got Jerry Jeudy a lot of money last year by throwing him the ball a lot. And guess what? Jerry Jeudy still sucks. And Jameis Winston throws the ball a lot. Maybe that would work against a team that's obviously better than you in the Chargers, that instead of putting JAXSON DART up there, like you said, to just like send him to the Wolves. But maybe it's because, if you send him against this team, maybe the winnable game against the Saints next week, assuming he stays healthy, now he has a game under his belt.
I don't know if that's a winnable game for the
Giants
either. That doesn't mean that. First of all, you're going into New Orleans, and they're hard to beat. The fans are very loud. They always come in like doubles. I mean, that place is always packed, no matter how bad the Saints are. They're going to
It's
be
the
loud.
easiest team on their roster because Spencer Rattler's the starting quarterback over
no
there.
doubt.
Earl.
I can't
Let's face
stand
it.
him.
You know.
No, I
you
can't
know
stand
he's
him.
terrible.
You're
He's
the
not
one,
a starting NFL
You're the one
quarterback.
during Super Bowl week that you wanted me, and you wanted to go and try to drag him over there to our table so I could.
I
interview
thought
him.
it would have been great,
No,
a great
I
interview.
would have gotten arrested. That's what would have happened. I would have been arrested.
Well, it would have went viral, but probably would have helped the show,
No
I guess.
question. After I get thrown
and
into
you could have
jail.
seen Shador on the way out.
That was another thing. After what I got a chance to witness with Shador Sanders with 25 people, he's in the middle, and he was swallowed by his entourage, and all
It
he
was
would
wild.
speak to is these two kids running up to him asking him for his autograph. And by the way, and I'll
Is
say
he
this-
that tall? Is he as tall as it says?
No.
Who, Rattler?
No, Shador.
Shador.
No, Rattler was taller than Shador.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was tall and skinny.
Wow.
I will say this. I didn't like how the NFL, the way they treated us on Super Bowl weekend. I'm not going to talk about it during the show. I'm sure they have those little, what do they call them, memes following us or probably listening to the show. I don't want to hurt ourselves for this year in San Francisco. But I will say this. Why do you have kids at Radio Row with credentials and not have more radio people at Radio Row? There were kids with credentials running around asking for people's autographs. I mean, that is for really professional media guys, not for kids. And I'm not taking it away from kids looking to get autographs from Joe Burrow or Travis Kelce or whoever was there trying, they're doing their interviews. To me, it's kind of wrong the way the NFL treats the media guys, especially a certain amount of media people that have a great show and a great product, to put them center stage on their platform. I didn't get that. So I was very upset.
I also never got how they decide yes or no.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny that you bring that up.
Kiss ass.
Same thing with the College World Series, and I'm just like, I put my son on there, obviously for a stupid reason, but they didn't even bat an eye. And then literally a friend of mine just jumped to a different platform, and they were like, nope. And I'm like, how do you pick? And they've been covering it for the last 6 years.
It doesn't make sense.
So, Errol, I do have one bone of contention of things before we move on of what you said. Cam Scatterbo is not a little guy. Cam Scatterbo is almost 6 foot. He's 5'11", 215.
He's small for a running back for another
No,
one
he's
running
not.
back.
That's
He's
not small for a running
He's
back.
small.
That's regular size
He's
for a running back. An
small, dude.
inside
He's
tackles
small.
running back.
He's
220, bro.
First of all, he's not 5'11". They're saying he's 5'11". He is definitely not 5'11". Okay? He is small. He is a small man running with a small
He's bigger.
football.
He's like your size.
Yeah.
He's your size. A little bit bigger.
I don't think a little bit bigger.
Because you just lost weight. He's a little bit bigger.
All right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think, like, that guy, he had 10 carries because he came in halfway through the game because Tracy
I know
dislocated
you
his
love
shoulder.
him, Fish.
10
but
carries for 60 yards. That's 6 yards a carry.
Stop.
That plays anywhere in the NFL. He had 6 catches for over 60 yards. That's 10 yards a reception. That plays anywhere in the NFL, especially from the running back position.
I'm tired.
He's
of
for
listening.
real.
No, okay.
He is for
all
real.
Right, let's see
Him
what he
and
does
Jackson Dart
let's
could
see-
be something.
All right, let's see what he does against the Chargers defense. Then we'll talk.
He's going to do absolutely nothing against the Chargers
Okay.
defense.
So he's not for
But-
real. He's not for real then.
So what is a successful game for Jackson Dart in his first week when we don't think he has a chance of winning? What would be successful?
200 yards, one thrown touchdown, one run touchdown in for him. Something like that, I think, is successful. And keeping the game close and keeping the Chargers at bay as an offense. That's what I would
2
do.
or fewer turnovers?
Yes.
Right?
If
I
that,
would say.
If that, yes. Speaking of
I
turnovers.
wasn't sure if you heard me, though, because
Yes.
I know you've been having some trouble with
You're
the
an idiot.
hearing.
You're an idiot.
So,
Screw you, Fish.
just wanted to make
Screw
sure that
you,
you heard
Fish.
what we said about Cam Scatterbo
Eat-
there at the end of
eat
the
ass,
segment.
Fish. The Lions beat the Ravens in a shootout on Monday Night Football, 38-30. It was the Lions, yes, the Lions, running game that dominated the game with the dynamic duo in David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, combining for 218 yards rushing, 4 total touchdowns. The Lions offense is third in yards per game and tied in second in points per game this season. In another losing effort, Lamar Jackson was great again with 288 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, with an additional 35 yards rushing. The other Raven stars struggled in this one. The wide receiver Zay Flowers having just 2 catches for 13 yards. Thank you, Zay. And star running back Derrick Henry having only 50 yards and another fumble in the fourth quarter, which really cost him, by the way. His second costly one this season after doing so in week 1 versus the Bills. The Ravens defense has been the worst in yards allowed per game this season and is second worst, only ahead of the Dolphins in points allowed per game. In week 4, the Ravens will face the Chiefs. Yes, Kansas City in a battle of underperforming 1 and 2 teams. Well, first of all, Baltimore's way better than Kansas City. But the Detroit Lions needed to make a statement. And they had to go to Baltimore. Baltimore, which if you look at Lamar Jackson's record at home since he's come to the NFL, I think he's only lost like 5 or 6 games. That also goes towards the playoffs as well. This is a guy that is practically unbeatable at home. He's really that good. And to say that you went into Baltimore on Monday Night Football on a national stage after getting your butts whipped by the Green Bay Packers, the way you did in just absolute dominant form in Lambeau Field, a Packer team that looked a shell of themselves this past week, losing 13-10 against the Cleveland Browns. It says a lot about your coach. It says a lot about your team. It says a lot about your belief in what your team could do when you have the ability to do it. And the Giants, I talked about what Scatterbo did when Tracy went down. Scatterbo is not Jahmyr Gibbs. Scatterbo is not David Montgomery. And if I were the Giants, or if I was any NFL team next year, David Montgomery still has a lot left in him. He is a free agent after this year. There are teams that are going to be looking for a veteran running back that can absolutely be a number 1. I'm sure the Chicago Bears very much wish they didn't let David Montgomery go. Because since David Montgomery, who have they had? Swift? Give me a break. He's got a swift. I'll give him a swift kick up his ass because he stinks. Right now, this Detroit Lion team need to show up on a big stage and do it in a dynamic fashion, and they did. They showed you why this running game could be the best in football once again this year. What Jahmyr Gibbs does in the backfield, catching the ball and using his wittiness on the outside with his speed to really dominate, and then David Montgomery's power backing, punching it right down your throat. This is as dynamic of a running game we've seen in the NFL in a very long time. By far the best running game in the NFL. And Dan Campbell used it in such a funny, unique fashion. I say funny because Dan Campbell is a unique individual. The way he goes on 4th downs, the way he is dancing and prancing on the sidelines, flexing his muscles. I don't know if anybody's seen Hard Knocks. He works out with his team. He's doing push-ups and sit-ups and all these different workouts with his team. If they're doing these workouts and they're on the practice field doing these workouts, Dan Campbell's doing it too. Even on the sidelines, when his team's jumping and doing shoulder-to-shoulder or chest-to-chest jumps when they're scoring touchdowns, who do you think is doing that? I mean, we've seen Aaron Glenn do it after Will McDonald ran a kick block or whatever, a block kick, ran it right down and scored a touchdown. He was dancing and prancing all the way on the sidelines, and he's a Detroit Lions disciple. I mean, Ben Johnson will never see that. Ben Johnson is as stern and stiff as Speedy's little thing in his pants. The fact here is Lamar Jackson, as good as he's been all season long, his team has not been. Derrick Henry has been a little fumble-rooski. He's been fumbling the ball a little too much. He's still one of the best running backs in the league. And when he gets off or when this team is winning, he needs to be the big piece to that offense. He was not on Monday night. And that is the reason why Zay Flowers didn't have a big game. And that is the reason why this defense was on the field too much. And I saw the Baltimore Ravens really get tired in the second half. They were tired. And why were they tired? Because they were running all over the place for Jahmyr Gibbs, and David Montgomery was just punching them in the throat. And by the way, how about Mr. St. Brown and what he did in the open field? And this is why I believe this could be as good and as dynamic of an offense we have seen even without Ben Johnson. And the reason why is they have all the weapons to succeed. And the offensive line is practically a top 4, top 3 offensive line for the last 2 or 3 years. Is it going to matter that Ben Johnson's the offensive coordinator because of that? No, it's not. Those guys got to play. And Jared Goff, who I used to make fun of for many, many years when he was with Sean McVay, I thought he was absolutely horrible. Ever since the Lions made that move, he's been a different quarterback. If you look at his numbers, Jared Goff's numbers have been the best when it comes to throwing in football over the last 3 seasons. You can look at, you can match his numbers up with Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow when it comes to consistency, scoring touchdowns, and really stepping in the pocket and making all those throws. That guy's as good as anybody in the league. Is he a fantasy guy? No, he's never a fantasy guy. No matter how many 400-yard games he has, because he doesn't run. And that's why a lot of people don't draft him in fantasy football.
And the running back steal all his touchdowns.
Exactly. So the fact here is, are the Ravens a Super Bowl contender this year? What I've seen over the last 3 weeks is their defense is not as elite as it's been. Think about it. When you have a front seven as good, you have guys up front as big and as strong as they've been over the years. One of the best run-stopping teams in football for many, many years. This year, they're not. That's a problem. And if they rely on Lamar Jackson this year more than they've done over the last 3 years, we've seen when they've had great defenses and they relied on Lamar Jackson, how far they've fallen flat on their faces in the playoffs. They went to an AFC title game. What was it? 2 years ago? Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, and they played against the Kansas City Chiefs. And what did Lamar Jackson do? He forced the ball many, many times against a Kansas City Chiefs team and defense that put a lot of pressure on him. Why? Because the offensive line didn't show up and the defense didn't show up in the second half when they needed to stop the run of the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, remember Isaiah Pacheco? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the game that showed and really proved why Isaiah Pacheco was drafted and why he was used as their number 1 back in the playoffs that year. Because what he did against the Baltimore Ravens, he punched it down their throats. I just don't know if the Ravens are a contender this year. I honestly don't think they're even the second best team right now in the AFC. Right now, if I would put the power rankings, Chargers number 1. I'd put Buffalo number 2. I'd put maybe the Ravens number 3. I don't know if I even put the Ravens number 3.
Are you climbing Danny Dimes into the top 3?
I would put Danny Dimes and the Indianapolis Colts as my number 3. And then the Baltimore Ravens. You can make all the faces you want. Indianapolis has proven it against the Broncos, where everybody expected to be a contender this year. Mm-hmm. They outlasted the Broncos. And they beat the Broncos, flat out beat the Broncos, and shoved it right down their faces. And then playing at Tennessee Titans, I don't care what Fish says. What is the defense? Yeah, guess what? The Tennessee Titans defense, top 5 defense last year. What were they ranked going into this season? Top 10. You're going to tell me that this defense was capable of stopping Danny Dimes? They were, but did they? No, they did not. And that's why Mr. Taylor ran all over him, and why I believe that the Indianapolis Colts will continue doing this all season long. And I'm going to tell you this right now. The Ravens have a lot of work to do because their identity has not been brought to the forefront. The only identity I've seen is Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson. And if you're depending too much on your star quarterback, eventually he's going to go down. And if he goes down, who's your backup quarterback? Who are you going to depend on when the going gets tough? That's my question for the Ravens.
Who is their backup?
Speedy, you would know more than anyone.
I actually don't know who it is.
Nobody knows. You see that?
That's how useless it was.
Nobody knows. That's a sell right there for all you fans. I just think right now the Ravens are in a really bad position. And again, they got to prove themselves. And their schedule's going to get a little bit more easier because they do have the Jets coming up. And they have Miami. So,
all right, Jahmyr, you ready for this? It's Cowboys legend Cooper Rush.
Oh, please. Oh, please. Oh, well,
The Beavs boy.
he might be better than some of the backups in the NFL, that's for sure. And the Beav absolutely adored him.
Oh, of course.
Probably would have gotten in his hands and knees and gave him a nice little, you know what? A little BJ, if you know what I'm saying.
Wow.
He's going to Cooper Rush him. Somebody's going to rush. It might not be Cooper after he sees the Beav on the football field.
Oh, boy.
He might be rushing the hell off the field after he sees the Beav running after him. Give me an autograph. Give me an autograph. I've got your jersey, Cooper. Yeah. He's no more a Cowboy.
Isn't that what Jeff claimed he was going to do to get Cowboys season tickets or something like that?
He did buy Cowboys season
That's
tickets.
right, he did.
And then he sold them.
That's right.
That's right. He did it because of the Beav. And then he
Right.
tried to sell them to the Beav, and the Beav didn't want them. He couldn't afford them. So.
Oh, that was
upset
the
on
reason.
that.
Not some Jerry Jones gripe or anything like that.
That was pretty funny, by the way. And
Yes.
Jeff, if you're listening to the show, I thought that was hilarious. There are things that Jeff does that are very, very funny. I can't take away from Jeff in his stupidity sometimes and the way he attacks me all over social media, but when he comes on and he says some of these foolish, crazy things, I could say I would agree with some of the things that comes out of his mouth in a funny way. And many, many times I go out in Florida and I want to meet up with Jeff, and he says, yeah, we'll meet up. Why not? We'll go get a beer. You can drink the beer. I'll just watch you drink. And I never hear from him when I get down there. He disappears off the face of the earth.
Yeah, he's focused on his betting. Clearly.
Or eating dog shit because he was supposed to eat it.
He was supposed to, yeah.
He was supposed to eat it, but never did because he didn't follow through with his bet.
Yep.
It sounds like a lot of bets you make that people don't follow
duck and
through
weave.
on that.
No, they duck and weave.
Java, to put it in
after they lose.
perspective, Jeff didn't think that the Jets were going to trade for Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr, sign Derek Carr that free agency process.
Mm-hmm.
And then he lost the bet, and a couple months later he became a Jets fan.
Yeah.
That's so we
Typical. Very typical. Not a fan.
Going back to the Ravens, just to refocus on them, the main reason I thought they were going to be better was a lot of their defense. We were talking about it the week you were away, Errol. We were talking about them bringing in Jahmyr Alexander as a slot corner, which I think was a big deal for them because Nate Wiggins was supposed to be a good prospect as a corner, and he played well when he was healthy, but he was never healthy. And Marlon Humphrey was an all-pro as a slot corner, but he still is, you would think,
Still
better.
good. He's still good, but he's getting old. It definitely has lost a step.
He has been notoriously a slow starter the last couple of years. So I'm not as worried about him. It's more the depth with that position I'm worried about. And the edge rushers is always something you always worry about if you're the Ravens because they've drafted some good guys, but they've either gotten hurt or they've been misused with 3 different defensive coordinators. This year, though, they're having a lot of other problems with big plays down the field. Kyle Hamilton's played well. The rest of those safeties have not. The linebackers have really struggled this year. They're allowing these really big running lanes that you never see the Ravens do. This is a team that's always built from the middle. And you have one of the best middle linebackers in football with Roquan Smith. You have Matabuke, who got a big contract a couple years ago. You have all these great interior defensive linemen, and they're allowing the Lions to run like crazy like that. The Lions do have a great backfield. I do agree with you on that. But the holes that they were allowing that kind of happen, you never see in the Ravens' identity at all. And then on offense, you're right. Derrick Henry does not look like himself. An offensive line that doesn't look like themselves, and Lamar is going to get pounded by bad teams if he has this level of having to do everything.
By bad teams.
And you never want that kind of thing because Lamar, he's been healthy the last 2 years, but the previous 2 years he got hurt right at the end of the season. The Ravens made the playoffs of those
went over
years.
like a fart in
They
church.
hung tough with Cincinnati. And then the year before they missed the playoffs. They were 8-3 and fell apart. You do not want that kind of thing to happen at the end of the season. Now, I'll give them a little bit of a pass because they played some good teams, but this is really concerning when you're allowing that many points and have no defensive identity, which is something the Ravens always have.
The identity of the Ravens right now is a team that has the worst defense in the NFL. They are ranked 31st in pass defense, 30th in run defense, worst in the NFL. They just got pushed around. Look, first of all, Penei Sewell is the best tackle in football, but that's only one guy. And they've lost a couple of. Zeitler's gone. Ragnav's gone from last year.
Is a right tackle, right?
Yeah.
Right tackle.
He's the
best right tackle.
Taylor
in football.
Decker's a left tackle. He's been a good left tackle his whole career, even when the Lions were terrible.
Yeah, and he's a top 15 left tackle, Taylor Decker. Yeah. So you have really good linemen still throughout that line. They didn't have him ranked super high coming into the year because guess what? Some of their stalwarts retired. But when you have a program, I know the coaches changed, right? and he lost his coordinators. Ben Johnson's gone, Aaron Glenn's gone. But look, they're still running these crazy plays. In fact, one of them is good enough for Fish's Play of the Week this week.
This is what's great about sports. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Fish's Play of the Week.
Do you know
I got to show it to you. It's unbelievable.
If Cox could
I thought this would stop when Ben Johnson was gone. But guess what? Ben Johnson might not have been the one calling for all the trick plays. I think that our boy, Dan Campbell, is the type of guy that says, I need a trick play every week. What do you have for me? Take a look at this one. I call this the jet triple option. Usually, the triple option is done by the quarterback. But in this scenario, and this was to Gibbs for one of his 2 touchdowns in the game, Goff is actually lined up in the I formation like it's the 90s. It's actually a weak I, but instead of a fullback, that's Amon-Ra St. Brown playing the weak fullback, and they're going to give him a jet sweep. Gibbs is the pitch man in the sweep, but usually the quarterback's the one doing the pitching. No, the quarterback's just out of the play after he gives it to the fullback. So this is one of those weird wrinkles that you'd only see either in video games, like if you go deep into the playbook, or if you're a guy like Dan Campbell and you say, I want something like this every week. It was good for a touchdown. It was good for Fish's Play of the Week.
Wait a second. Didn't we have the Play of the Week on Monday, and now we have Fish's
No, the Stat of the Week's on Monday. Play of the Week's on Wednesday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyways, I listen, my play, my way, I don't give a crap. I will say this. John Harbaugh is going to be looking for a new job if this team doesn't figure it out. This is a team that is in a position that was expected to be a contender this year for a Super Bowl. I thought was one of my favorites coming out of the AFC. I don't know if I believe that now. This defense is not as good as it was. The secondary is a lot better than the front seven because the front seven doesn't put enough pressure on quarterbacks, and you can see they're not putting enough pressure on quarterbacks this year. They're going to have to use more blitz packages, and I think, obviously, with John Harbaugh, which is something that he has pushed over the years, he's going to have to shift that way if they're planning to be a contender this year. Because the AFC is so wide open, and I just expect the Broncos to get better. I do. I think Kansas City will get better week in and week out. I don't think they're as bad as they've been in the first 3 weeks. So I think there's a lot of teams that we're going to see. And the Bengals, whenever Joe Burrow comes back, if they could stay afloat, and Joe Burrow comes back, watch out for the Bengals because they're going to be explosive with Ja'Marr Chase and Higgins and the way they run the ball. So I expect them to contend too. And by the way, Trey Hendrickson has played this year, and he has 2.5 sacks. So still dominant at the line of scrimmage. And to me, you got to pay the guy. And if they don't pay him in the offseason this year, which I believe they won't, the Cowboys are very much going to open up the checkbooks because they need a pass rusher badly after what we've seen over the first 2 weeks, or really the first 3 weeks of their defense.
They had one. And they let him go for a middling defensive
$48 million.
And a couple of future picks.
$48 million. And again,
what's Hendrickson going to cost?
I'm just saying, what did Micah Parsons do against the Cleveland Browns this week? Not much. So you got to show up in every game, not just the big games on national television. I don't care who you're playing. And that's Micah Parsons. And I've said this about Micah Parsons really since he's come to the NFL. When the going gets tough and the playoffs start, this guy is not a playoff player. You got to be a playoff player if you're going to get paid like a playoff player. $48 million. There's only quarterbacks are making more money than Micah Parsons. Is he worth $48 million? I don't know. Well, and until Green Bay proves himself to be a contender this year, which after losing against Cleveland, I don't think they're as good as everybody thought they were going to be in the NFC that is fully loaded. Fully loaded. As we see Baker Mayfield this week and how about the Lions and the Eagles and what the Eagles could do. So the Eagles came right back against the Rams where we thought they were a contender this year and told the fabulous Sean McVay Rams to ram it up your asses, where the Eagles and our fat asses are going to block a field goal and run it right in, as we saw Mr. Davis do at 335 pounds.
And that's what you call a ram jam, isn't it?
Ram it and jam it, as we all say. And somebody's got to ram it and jam it because it's...
That's Nathan's statement.
Well, damn it.
I wouldn't hate on Micah Parsons' performance. He's still the
Jam.
number 4 ranked edge rusher in the NFL, according to PFF, after 3 weeks
stop
in the
with
league.
this PFF
He's a top 5 guy.
We're gonna go with
They
this
put
PFF
2 to
now.
3 guys on him every single
Good.
play. And then Rashawn Gary had a great game. That's what happens. That's why you trade for Micah Parsons. And I think the Ravens could take a word of advice and try to get a guy, and they're not going to get Hendrickson. There's no way that deal's ever going to happen with those 2 rivals. But you need to get someone
He's a
that's
free agent.
actually
He
going
could
to
go
be
there.
a force on the end.
He could go
They
there.
need somebody. But I'm saying this year. There's a trade deadline. I mean, look, I think a lot of us think
Bengals
Russell
are
Wilson will get
trading them.
traded.
They're going to be a
But
contender.
there's going to be people traded, and if there's a defensive rusher or a 3, it could even be an interior rusher, but I would say an end. They need to be better
Jabba,
there
you
if
look
they're going to be
so
serious.
different without those glasses. I'm sorry. I'm so used to you wearing glasses. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what am I missing here? What is Jabba not wearing today? And I figured it out. I'm like, Jesus, he's not wearing his glasses. But yeah, again, going back to the Green Bay Packers and Micah Parsons, I think he's overpaid. And until he does it in the playoffs, I don't care if he's triple team, double team. It doesn't matter. If he doesn't show up in the big games, it doesn't matter to me. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And again, against the Cleveland Browns, because it wasn't on national television and nobody cared about the game, Micah Parsons did not show up in the big game. He didn't.
Fish, I want to.
By the way, Myles Garrett did. He always does. It doesn't
Myles
matter.
Garrett's incredible.
Yeah.
Fish, I want to allude to what you were saying, too, about maybe taking the big swing for an edge rusher, too, because the Ravens have been looking for that consistent edge rushing depth for a while. And they have, like, 3 youngsters that they drafted recently that were supposed to be those guys. OA was the same draft with Rousseau and the Giants drafting Ojulari in that draft. You had David Ojabo, who was supposed to be a top 10 pick until he got hurt at the Combine. And then this year they drafted Mike Green, who we all thought was a top 15 pick, and he fell in the draft because of off-field issues. You trade one of those guys, like
Who
Packers
you
with that-
loved, Fish. I love that.
He's actually
spinning
looked
ball.
okay, Green. He's just like a
spinning
situational
ball.
guy, though.
Right, but they have
Look,
3 of those
he's
types
got the
of
Bryce
guys.
Huff role right now. He plays 33% of snaps. He's not going to make an impact on the game, right? But he's got some talent. But Speedy, what you're saying makes a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to do it in-house. They don't realize that's the position you spend on.
Right,
This is
you
why
include
the
one of those
Packers
in a
did
trade
it.
deal. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You got to get somebody if you're real. If you want to compete, you're wasting years of Lamar Jackson's prime if you're not going to have a real defense. How many years is he going to be able to take this kind of punishment being this kind of mobile quarterback? He's you're just risking it.
Well, the last
I don't want to
3
see
years,
it go waste
their
if I'm them.
defense has been elite. This year is the first time that they have not been. I mean, last year they were a top 7 defense. The year before was a top 5. They've always been an elite defense. This past year, they've fallen off because they can't put any pressure on a quarterback. You can look all you want, Fish. I'm telling you. I don't care if you could look. You could go looking at your statistics, your PFF.
No, I want to go last 5 years. So last 5 years,
whatever you call it, your mathematical
no,
equations.
you're 100% right. Look, they've been a top 5 defense every year since 2019, except for 2021. Actually, I don't have 2024 up here, but under Mike McDonald, they dominated, and they were good last year as well. But there's attrition in the NFL. And if you're not going to have a defense that can even be competent out there, you can't be a bottom 3 defense, which is what they are right now in both pass and rush, and be able to overcome it. It's what happened to the Bengals last year with Burrow having 5,000 yards and them not making the playoffs, doing everything he can. That's what's going to happen to this Ravens team if they don't make they might need to make a splash move on defense before the trade deadline.
I don't know if it
On
was
defense, but then does that change Lamar's role and how he dictates the game and what he does? If because
it could get him hurt.
I think it opens up the game. If you're a fantasy owner, you're going to get a lot from Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson's going to have to do everything on the offensive side of the ball. So if you're a fantasy owner, you're loving it because Lamar Jackson's going to give you 40 points, as he absolutely beat me with a minute left in 2 of my leagues. Thank you for the owners that own Lamar Jackson, as I was swimming in a loss for the first time over the last 3 weeks. So it happens. But you don't want to see those guys because those guys are game-changing quarterbacks. He's a game-breaker, period. Lamar Jackson will beat you with his legs just as well as he's going to beat you in the air. And again, Lamar Jackson for years has always been – if you look at the guys that win fantasy, more than likely your quarterback is Lamar Jackson. More than likely. That's why a lot of people say draft Lamar Jackson in the first 2 rounds, no matter.
Lamar or Josh Allen or like one of those guys in the top. If you can get one of those guys.
I still wouldn't do it.
I went with it in our draft this year with Allen. I thought Allen would be better than Jackson. I had to make that pick. And I said Allen just has an easier strength of schedule, and he's more of a running guy, so I expected more rushing touchdowns from him than maybe Jackson. But it was super close, right? Like, how do you really parse between the two? I just thought easier schedule. But maybe now I'm thinking I had it backwards. Harder schedule, bad defense. You've got to be in those games. You got to play comeback and get those garbage time fantasy points. I just don't know how many weeks Lamar's going to be able to do that and stay healthy with his style of play. It's really scary if they're going to play the rest of this whole season this way. If I'm a Ravens fan, I mean, it should be fun to watch, but scary, bro.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my deuce of the day.
The deuce of the day.
You log. Not a log. I don't have a log, but I mean, you know.
Why wouldn't my deuce be about somebody I can't stand in the NFL? Well, I dug deep. And ladies and gentlemen, my deuce of the day goes to the Gremlin. I'm not surprised. Travis Hunter, yes, receives high praise from a Jaguars Pro Bowl player in the past, despite a slow start. Well, on the Jim Rome show, I don't know if anybody's checked out Jim Rome's podcast. It's a good one. I listen to Jim. Jim's been around a long, long time, a guy that I've always looked up to. This particular player said Travis is a hell of a player, a heck of a teammate, too. Hines Allen, yes, who is playing with him right now. He had to get on him a little bit earlier because of the rookie stuff. But once he kind of figured and dialed things up, he kind of accepted the role he was in, he's become a hell of a player. Well, here's the problem, Mr. Josh Hines Allen. I don't care if you're a 2-time Pro Bowl player. I don't care if you're an 8-time Pro Bowl player. I don't know what you're watching. A hell of a player? This guy is averaging, what is it now, Speedy? 5 yards per catch? I mean, this is going down as one of the worst rookie seasons in the first 4 games of a season of a rookie wide receiver drafted in the top 10. He's been horrible. I've said this and I'll say it again. He's better off playing in a star role of a new Gremlins movie than playing football right now for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And by the way, I'm not even going to get him at the quarterback, Mr. Hippie himself. The fact is, I don't care what teammate is going to come out and talk very highly of this guy. This guy has not been good. He's horrible. He's not good in the secondary when it comes to defense, and he's not been a very good offensive player as a wide receiver. He's an absolute bust. And ladies and gentlemen, 7 years. 7 years. And we will not be talking about Travis Hunter anymore.
The way it's going now, I don't know if 7's going to get it.
As you all know. So, ladies and gentlemen, my deuce of the day goes to Josh Hines Allen on just an absolute despicable take on how he believes Travis Hunter is a hell of a player. The hell of a nothing. He's a hell of a toilet seat. And when somebody takes a dump on it and leaves the skid marks for it, I'll leave it for Travis. All right, that's all about it. That's all I'm going to stick over there. I'll just stick it at that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we will be talking to Chat Sports Steelers and NFL analyst Jax Berry. But I will say you this, and I will tell you this. When he comes on, you know he's going to blow up Aaron Rodgers in that 4-touchdown game he had with the New York Jets. I'm excited to hear his take to it and his take after the game when it comes to the Jets organization. I can't wait for this. But first, our Sports Minute with the Fish.
3, 2, 1. This is the Jabba and the Mouth Sports Minute.
All right, everybody. Aaron Fishman here with your Sports Minute. Got a couple of stories before we get into the baseball scores this evening. The Loyola Chicago Ramblers are going to have to replace their team chaplain for the first time in decades as the famed Sister Jean is finally retiring amidst health concerns at the well past retirement age of 106 years old. Jean Dolores Schmidt, the nun better known as Sister Jean, had been the campus minister and chaplain of the basketball team since 1991. After first taking off from her duties in the NIT semifinals last season, Sister Jean decided to step down at the end of the summer to focus on her health. Her send-off message for future Ramblers and students Loyola Chicago read, "Let your dreams become a reality." Chicago basketball fans will remember her best from Loyola's Final Four NCAA tournament run in 2018 when she was 99 years young. Happy retirement to Sister Jean. And the Washington Nationals, on the other end of the age spectrum, have made their choice in order to lead their franchise into the future in 35-year-old Red Sox assistant general manager Paul Taboni, who is finalizing a deal with the organization to become the new head of baseball operations. Taboni started his career as an intern in the Red Sox organization, rising quickly through the ranks and is regarded as one of the top young executives in baseball. The Nationals, who are putting the finishing touches on a season where they will just fall shy of losing 100 games, fired GM Mike Rizzo and manager Dave Martinez in July, 6 years after their surprise World Series title run. Many attribute the rise of the Red Sox farm system to Taboni, who ran their scouting before becoming assistant GM. Congratulations to the Nationals, and thank you for taking a key asset away from those bums in Beantown. Go Yanks. Guys, we are streaming live on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube on our Jabba in the Mouth handle, on Facebook under the Worldwide Sports Radio Network handle, and on Twitter under our host handle at ErrolMarks34. Keep downloading on Apple Podcasts and watch us both there and on Spotify, now in video. Make sure to like and subscribe to all our shorts, reels, TikToks, and longer videos that you see from us throughout the week. Now back to Errol, Jabba, and Speedy for our guest on Jabba and the Mouth.
Any questions?
What is this? We're back. This is the Jabba and the Mouth Show.
Go suck on an egg, and he tastes himself.
Breaking news. Smell my ass. Breaking news. You want to jerk me off?
631-672-3108 is the number to call. You're listening to Jabba and the Mouth. I'm your host, the one and only, the Mouth himself. The Mouth of the South or the West, the East, the North, Errol Marks. And the flamethrower himself, Mr. Jabba Chamberlain. No, ladies and gentlemen, he's not wearing his glasses. He's lost over 35 pounds. He's looking excellent. He's looking sexy for his future wife. And maybe Speedy Petey. Speedy, I don't know what you like. And the one and only Speedster as my wonderful co-host. Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Check out all our shows throughout the week, including Jabba in the Mouth every single Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. All you have to do to tune in and check out our local listings for all the shows is go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Our show, Jabba in the Mouth, is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they're giving 10% off of all their orders if you're a Jabba and the Mouth fan. And all you guys got to do is go and click the link by going to www.omahasteaks.com/Jabba in the Mouth. Or go on our website, worldwidesportsradio.com, and click the Omaha Steaks logo. How could you beat or not beat a 10% discount if you click Jabba and the Mouth? If you like your steaks, you like your London broils, you like your nice soft cut, what do you call them? Ram jamming in your mouth, Speedy, as you know?
I farted.
Or something else?
Butt plug.
Something of that magnitude. We love Omaha Steaks. I'm loving the Omaha Steaks discount as I bought myself a 10% 10% Omaha steak as well. So I'm loving it. Thank you to Omaha Steaks. Thank you to Jabba for linking our show up with Omaha Steaks. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, we're going to have a lot of other new and improved sponsors in the very near future before the new year. So yes, Omaha Steaks is one of them. And now, ladies and gentlemen, he's been calmly and carefully thinking about how he's going to attack this one. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he's been on our show. He has smiles, and he's smiling, and he's a little bit of a jokester. I think he is. Maybe he's just trying to joke around with us half the time about the Steelers. But I love him. We are now talking to Chat Sports Steelers and NFL analyst Jack Sperry. Jack-o'-lantern, what's up, man?
Hey guys, good to see you. Can you hear me okay?
We hear you. You sound good.
Great.
You sound clear. I don't know about Aaron Rodgers, but you sound clear. You know, I've been waiting for you to come on this show, man. I really have been. I mean, the praise of Russell Wilson last year as he went to, a Pro Bowl, because nobody else wanted to play in that flag football game. And then we loved Justin Fields, and they couldn't sign him because they failed once again to keep him happy because they decided to go with Russell Wilson 4 games or 5 games of the season when he had a winning record. He was 4-2 or whatever the record was before Mr. Russell Wilson took over. And then they had no quarterback. And until really the end of OTAs and going into the preseason, they were trying to figure out who's going to be their quarterback. But Aaron Rodgers' name kept being brought up. Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers have a relationship off the field. The love fest of Mike Tomlin when he heard that Aaron Rodgers wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. When every single Steeler but maybe 1 or 2 that we've heard really didn't want Aaron Rodgers on that field and on that roster because of his antics on and off the field. Well, you've watched him in the first 3 games of the season. Assess what you have seen, and I don't want to hear about the Jets game.
That's perfectly fine. I think he's actually been one of the better parts of the Steelers' offense to this point. I think that he's been generally pretty accurate. He's not very mobile anymore, which sucks because the Steelers' offensive line can't seem to protect him right now. And really what's been the big issue with the Steelers in the passing game has been DK Metcalf, Pat Freiermuth, and Jonnu Smith in particular haven't been getting open against man coverage. So, and then you got Calvin Austin, who's a smaller guy. He can get pushed around a little bit. And, I think Rodgers has been generally pretty good with the football. He's had a couple of really stupid mistakes throwing the ball into harm's way at times. But he currently is tied atop the league in touchdown passes right now in the league. They've been really good on the script on the first drive of the game. They've scored on the first drive in all 3 of the first 3 games so far. Jalen Warren's doing some really good things for that offense, but the offensive line has been terrible. They can't run block. And then they're getting into a lot of 3rd and long situations right now, and you can't separate against man coverage. So the offense has certainly struggled at times here, but Rodgers has had some really nice throws. He's made some really great throws out of structure as well. And then when they were able to kind of manipulate Aaron Glenn's defense there in week 1, they were able to put up 4 touchdown passes. So I think, Rodgers is one of these quarterbacks that's no longer capable of carrying a roster anymore, but he is somebody that's capable of executing the offense. He's still one of the smartest quarterbacks in NFL history. He still has really great arm talent. The ball still flies out of his hand. He still has that signature quick release. So he's somebody that if they can get a little bit of a run game going, if they can maybe trade for a receiver before the deadline to get a little bit more separation against man coverage and get some of these teams out of these too high shells that they've been seeing a lot to start the season, then I think everything will be okay.
So DK Metcalf, kind of the usage of it. We're seeing him more on short routes, especially against the Jets. You saw him after the catch a lot of the time, too, and against the Seahawks, too. They tried it in the beginning, but he's usually thought of more as a deep threat. Are you surprised that they're using him a little more in those shorter games when he has that much athleticism?
Well, they used him in that way a little bit in the first game, and then since then versus Seattle and New England, they've actually just been really putting him out on streaks and on fades. And because teams are not afraid of the Steelers' run game, they're playing a lot of too high safety shells. And when you're playing a lot of too high safety coverages, it's a lot more difficult to throw the ball down the field. So a lot of these teams are allocating another safety to take care of DK Metcalf, and there's not really a lot of opportunities to get him the football. And then another issue is, a lot of these teams are just manning up DK Metcalf, and he's not separating. There was a chart that went out earlier this week with separation metrics, and DK Metcalf is dead last among receivers with at least 40 snaps this year in separation versus man. So you're paying that guy $33 million per season, and he's not separating versus man coverage. I actually think that they should be using him more in the short yardage game and start using him more like Arthur Smith used A.J. Brown, where Brown was catching all those slants. He was catching those short drift routes over the middle of the field off of play action, and they would try to get him the ball out in space where he can make people miss, use that big frame, and then once he gets going, DK Metcalf is one of the more unstoppable forces in space just because he's so big. There's no defensive back that wants to tackle him in space, especially with a head of steam. And I was hoping they were going to use him kind of like they used A.J. Brown in Tennessee and get him the ball over the middle of the field with a head of steam there. But really, they've just been really using him mostly like George Pickens to this point as like a true deep threat. And because of all these teams playing these kind of two high safety coverages and playing a lot of man, there's just not a lot of opportunities to get him the football in that type of situation.
Yeah, Jack, you kind of touched on a little bit the offensive line too, and obviously going in with Caleb Johnson too, seeing how you've been writing and touching on that. What is your assessment of him, and do you think people have been a little hard on him early, as you touched on your X Twitter a little bit? It's interesting how you talked about, Aaron, not being mobile anymore, and then the offensive line there. Do you think that's played a part too in Caleb's either development or how he's been productive or not as productive as people thought?
Yeah, so Caleb coming in, he had some pretty definable weaknesses in his game. At Iowa, they really were just a run-centric football team, a lot of outside zone, and he wasn't really asked to pass protect all that much because they didn't pass the ball, and then he wasn't asked to be much of a receiver because they didn't pass the ball. So he was really in that early down role all the time at Iowa. So that's a brand new skill set that he needs to learn in the National Football League, and he's also been trying to learn kickoff return stuff, and none of those things have come to fruition this early into his NFL career, which is disappointing. You would hope that that development would be there, but it's just not. And right now, Jaylen Warren is playing so well for them that it doesn't really make sense to play him on early downs either, because Jaylen has been fantastic. So there's no room for him to play an early down role. He doesn't have the skill set to play passing down role. And then obviously he had that big mistake on the kickoff in week 2 versus Seattle. So he got benched with that. So there's just not a whole lot of places where he can contribute to the team right now. But, they're hoping that as, he's in this kind of low stakes role, he's not on the field all that much, that he can hone his craft in practice. And then maybe by the end of the season or by the start of his second season, a lot of those things like pass catching, pass protection, all the things that he's working on right now kind of get ironed out. And then hopefully by year 2, he can be a real solid piece for that backfield.
First of all, Caleb better be doing it a lot quicker than that. I drafted that SOB. He better be playing a lot better in the second half. I don't want to wait until next year. He needs to play now because he's one of those running backs that I'm going to be using as, especially with the flex leagues that I have. I expect him to do more. By the way, we are talking to Chat Sports Steelers and NFL analyst Jack Sparrow. Jack, the AFC North has always been the dominant division in football. One of the top 3 for the last, I would say, 12 years, 13 years. You can't argue about Baltimore, Pittsburgh, the Bengals. Even Cleveland's been up and down. A couple of years ago, Speedy had them going to the Super Bowl.
4 years ago, yes.
Yeah, he was on drugs. I'm just speaking.
I was right about the Rams winning it all that year.
You were on drugs. Anyways, but the fact is, and I love Baker Mayfield, by the way, who's now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback. But if you're looking right now at that division, the division has not really been that good. If you look at Pittsburgh's defense from last year, they're nowhere close to as good as they were over the last 2 years. If you look at Baltimore's defense over the last 3 or 4 years or the last 20 years, they're ranked 30th right now in the NFL. This defense is not a shell of themselves. We all know what the Bengals defense is without Trey Hendrickson. It's not good. The best defense in this division is the Cleveland Browns, the lonely Cleveland Browns, who just knocked off the Green Bay Packers. Are you surprised right now that really this is a mediocre division, and why do you think it is a mediocre division?
Well, I think the Ravens will end up being okay. They play the Bills and Josh Allen, and then you play Detroit and that awesome offense. So, some of the points given up, the yards given up, once they start playing some of these lesser teams, I think that we'll see Baltimore continue to fill up the win column. So I'm not too worried about Baltimore. They're certainly putting up points. Honestly, biggest issue with them that I'm worried about is Derrick Henry and whether or not he can figure out this fumble issue that he's been dealing with. Steelers are a team with a lot of new pieces on there. They're dealing with some injuries. I think that you can expect the Steelers to play better as the season goes on both sides of the ball because they got, I think last week, all 5 of the starting secondary members were new to the team. So, if you want to run a lot of these man match rules type of stuff, that relies a lot on trust, on chemistry, on communication. And, Steelers just haven't been able to run a lot of that stuff because all these players are new and they're still learning how to play with each other. So I think that defense, once Joey Porter Jr. gets back, Deshaun Elliott gets back, I think that defense is going to be pretty darn good as we get into December and January if they make the playoffs. The Bengals, losing Joe Burrow for multiple months is brutal. I think their defense is still not very good at all. I expect them to, even though they started out pretty good here this season, 2-1, I think that they're probably going to start losing some games here. And then Cleveland, Cleveland's got really good defense, and they need to figure out what they're going to do on offense because Joe Flacco and that offense has not been able to move the football at all. And they might have to think about start playing some of these rookie quarterbacks to see if they can get something out of these guys because they legitimately have a defense with as much man as they run, with Myles Garrett playing as well as he's playing right now. That pass rush is legit, and they're holding up in man coverage pretty well against some pretty darn good offenses here. So, it'll be interesting to see if one of these rookie quarterbacks that gets a shot for Cleveland actually ends up playing well in their rookie season. And if that happens, they might be able to put some wins together, maybe even be third in this division over the Bengals, depending on how long Burrow is out. But I think by the end of the season, we're going to be looking at this division as a lot better as what we're looking at them right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Sperry is on drugs. That's what he is. You just heard him right here on this show that he said that the Bengals will fall to 4th place. I have no idea what this man is speaking about. There's no way in hell old man Joe is going to make this Cleveland Brown team a 3rd or even 2nd rated team in this division. And by the way, Dylan Gabriel is the guy. If they put Shador as the quarterback this year, it is an absolute downfall of this organization. It is what I call a shit stain, as we all know it. As we were just talking about Travis Hunter with the bowl, I could have put that as my deuce of the day, Mr. Jack Sperry. That is as deuce as you can lay it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my sale on that.
All right, I'll shift to the trade of the former Jacksonville Jaguars corner, Jalen Ramsey, traded to your Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason from the Dolphins. And then you got Johnny Smith as well. Minka Fitzpatrick goes the other way, which I think a lot of Steelers fans were saying was a good salary cap relief. I think before Kyle Hamilton got paid was the highest paid safety in football. Have you seen the impact on both sides? And is there something still missing from maybe losing Minka in that secondary?
Played pretty well. I think what I want to see from the Steelers and their use of Jalen Ramsey is I want to see them blitz him more. They used to blitz Mike Hilton a ton from the slot, and it would really affect the way that offenses would have to operate against the Steelers because Mike Hilton, as crazy as it sounds, him being kind of a smaller slot corner, they would use him almost as like an edge rusher blitzing off the edge from the slot. And I think they should be using Jalen Ramsey like that. He's bigger. He's an awesome tackler. He's a great run defender. He can help out in run defense close to the line of scrimmage in that way. And I don't know if it's because, Joey Porter Jr.'s out, Deshaun Elliott's out, so they want him out in coverage more or what have you, but they've only blitzed him a couple of times from the slot. And when they have, it's been successful. So I think Jalen is still a really impactful defender. I know he's getting older and he's not quite what he once was in his prime, but he is still a star-level corner, in my opinion. He can still hang with the best of them. He had that great hit on Garrett Wilson to finish the game in week 1. Super instinctual, physical player that can enforce his will, and one of the best run defending and tackling corners in football still, even at his age. So I think that, Minka is certainly somebody that is truly regressing right now. I think we're seeing that in Miami. And to unload Minka's contract, like his cap hits per season at the point that it was at in his contract was just not sustainable. I think you're getting a more impactful player on your defense for less money against your cap in Jalen Ramsey. And you get another player involved in that deal with Jonnu Smith, who's been a pretty good manufactured touch guy. So I still really like that deal for Pittsburgh. It saved them money. You get a better player, and I'm just hoping that they can use him a little bit more creatively in the weeks to come as he gets more used to playing in the Steelers defense.
Yeah, so I'd like to touch on like your opinion of what is it going to take. Obviously, there's been scuttlebutt that this, depending on what happens with Tomlin, this is his last year, and that's a big if, right? But what do you think? Well, I mean, obviously, everything that he's done, not having a losing season, not having obviously haven't won in a while, but what is it going to take for him? Like, what is there really a definitive way of him losing his job, or them letting him go, or moving on, or however they want to word it, with the way that this season goes?
Well, I think for sure they need to miss the playoffs. I think that's step one, and I think there needs to be a certain level of things not getting better from where they are right now. Like right now, the Steelers' offense, they're scoring points because they're doing well in the red zone. They're doing some good things, and the defense is turning the ball over. They're doing some good things, but the offense really isn't moving the ball, and the defense isn't really stopping teams outside of turning the football over. So if some of these things that are going wrong don't get better, despite the talent on this roster, let's say they finish 7 wins this year, 8 wins this year, and they miss the playoffs, and the Steelers want to kind of reset and embark on a rebuild moving forward. I'm not sure if the Steelers want Mike Tomlin to embark on a rebuild and be the guy that leads this team through that. And then B, I'm not sure if Mike Tomlin really wants to go through a full-blown rebuild either. So I think at that point, what happens is the Steelers and Mike Tomlin kind of agree to part ways. And the way that they do that is they look for a trade partner to get a draft pick in exchange for him. And for a coach like Mike Tomlin, future Hall of Famer, never a losing season, or at least not to this point, very well-respected guy in the league. I mean, we've seen coaches get traded for, day one and day two draft picks, and I'm sure he could fetch one of those. And then at that point, I think that they would go out and get somebody like maybe a Brian Flores from Minnesota. He coached in Pittsburgh. He has instant credibility in the Steelers locker room because of that. He's a great defensive mind. And the Rooneys, I know he's got that lawsuit going on with the NFL right now, but the Rooneys don't really care about that. They just care about who's the best for the job. And I definitely think there'd be a lot of players that would be jazzed up to play for Brian Flores if that was the case. So, if you're the Steelers and you're embarking on a rebuild, you already have all these compensatory picks. I think you have like 12 draft picks next year right now. And then you can add another high draft pick for getting rid of Tomlin, and you bring in a great young, defensive mind that runs a great defense in Brian Flores, who's got great connections to the Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell offensive coaching tree. Bring Josh McCown over as the new OC or someone like along those lines. And I think that you're sitting pretty good if that's the situation heading into a rebuild.
I want her melons.
Now, I really do believe Jack Sperry is on drugs. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jack Sperry is fantastic. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers guy. He actually believes Josh McCown will be a great offensive coordinator in the league. Go back to high school. Go coach some high school football, your son, whatever. I do not think Josh McCown is going to be a good offensive coordinator in the league. I'm just speaking my truth. But here's the thing. Pittsburgh right now, let's get off of it. You've watched 3 weeks of NFL football, all right? There's a lot to kind of go through and figure out what has been the top things that you've seen so far in 3 weeks and some of the low things you've seen. Give me 2 of your top things that you like that you've seen so far early this season, and tell me 2 of your worst. I love to hear this.
Are you just talking about like teams? Or are you talking about players? Whatever. Like what are you looking for specifically? Whatever.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Colts offense right now. If you would have told me a month ago Danny Dimes would be leading the league in EPA per play and success rate right now, I would have called you crazy. But Shane Steichen is one of my favorite offensive play callers. He's so creative. He does such a good job setting guys up for success. Tyler Warren's been awesome. They got some great weapons. Now, is Daniel Jones a top 10 quarterback in the league? Probably not in a vacuum. We've seen too much bad ball from him in the past to say that. But I think that, he has certainly proven that with the right situation around him, with a good O-line, a good run game, good weapons, good play caller, I mean, this is a really good offense right now, and that looks like a pretty darn good football team. And with the Texans starting as poorly as they have,
great quarterback. Stop it,
I
Sperry.
think we're looking at the AFC South champions right there in the Colts if they can keep it up. They also got an underrated defense there in Indianapolis. So definitely, I'm liking what I'm seeing from those guys. And then another thing, how about Justin Herbert leading the Chargers with that pass-heavy attack? Let's talk about him because that Chargers team, Harbaugh, everyone expected that to be Omarion Hampton, Najee Harris, heavy run game. And it's been the exact opposite. They've been airing it out. And Greg Roman, who's known more as a run game coordinator, has dialed up some great concepts. Even Johnston, who's been kind of panned for his drops in the past, has been really explosive and really good down the field for Herbert. Of course, they got Lad McConkey, who's awesome. Keenan Allen has done a fantastic job rekindling with Justin Herbert to this point. Right now, if Herbert continues on the trajectory and they keep throwing it as much as they're throwing it, and he's putting up the numbers that he's putting up, he's going to be the league's MVP this year. That's what I really believe.
And what's your bad?
Oh, the bads. Oh, my goodness. Where do I start? There's a lot of bad. I mean, there's only 6 teams in the AFC with winning records. I got to start with Miami. I mean, just a complete cultural failure on the part of Mike McDaniel. This is the big thing about McDaniel coming in is people wondered, could he handle the locker room? And it just seems like that, multiple years now into this experiment, he's starting to lose it. And that defense is not playing good football. Offensive line certainly isn't built to where it needs to be. And Tua is making some really bad mistakes in the fourth quarter. And I really think that they're about to embark on yet another rebuild. They're going to hire another head coach. They might fire McDaniel this week if they lose to the Jets without Justin Fields. So keep your eye on that. But I would say Miami is definitely one of the teams that have been just awful. And then I'll say the Saints defense for my other one. I mean, watching those guys on film, Brandon Staley, the worst defensive play caller in the league, bar none, in my opinion. Super soft defense, tons of off coverage, super predictable, and then the talent there is not good. So you combine that terrible coaching with the terrible defensive roster they got there in New Orleans. I'd have to say they're probably the worst team in the league right now.
Shot in the dark, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Sperry had to mention the New York Jets and throw the Jets right under the table. He had to add the Miami Dolphins. If the Jets beat Miami without Justin Fields, Mike McDaniel's going to get fired. What a crock. Get out of here.
He said positive things about Daniel Jones. Take what you can get.
That's the only thing I liked. Him and Justin Fields, those are A+s. I absolutely agree with him on both guys. And why not put Daniel Jones in possibly an envy? He's definitely comeback player of the year. Definitely comeback player of the year. If Indianapolis wins 11 games this year, and comes out of the AFC South and he shows up in one of these playoff games, absolutely comeback player of the year. I love those takes, but you had to attack the Jets. This is what really makes me upset about you, Mr. Jack Sperry. I have gone at you. I didn't attack you on social media. I've stayed clear with you on some of those Pittsburgh Steelers takes. And now, with your Aaron Rodgers and your Pittsburgh Steelers, now I'm going to really put a hex on them. Tomlin's not making the playoffs. This Pittsburgh Steelers team is overrated, and I love you, Mr. Watt. Watt is not going to have more than 15 sacks this year. Book it! That's all I'm going to say. That's still a good year for him, so I'm not going to say anything bad about it. But, Mr. Jack Sperry, we love you. I do. I love you. I love your personality. I love what you do with the Pittsburgh Steelers and chat sports. You're sensational. I want you to know that I still love you. As much as you tick me off sometimes with some of those crazy Pittsburgh Steelers takes, I follow you. I watch your YouTube channel every week. And I got to say, the enthusiasm, the way you bring it up and you use your hand gestures and you have your nice little headset over your head and you're doing your thing. I love it. But you got to cool down, man. You got to give my Jets a little bit more credit. How about Will McDonald, man? Will McDonald's special. You can't take that away from him. He's special.
Yeah, he's good. Good football player.
Yeah, so for all the Jet fans that said the guy was a terrible pick at number 15, Joe Douglas is laughing too. Well, I don't know where he's laughing. He's somewhere, wherever he is. Anyways, Jack, we really do love you. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
The one and only Jack Sperry. What a special guy. I got to love him. I mean, we all love him. I can't hate on him. I love him.
He praised Daniel Jones. Give him credit.
I do. Everybody should praise Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has had a great season. You cannot put this man down. He beat the Broncos. He beat Tennessee. He beat top defenses. Defenses that everybody said was going to absolutely murder him. And the guy played a good game. Yes, he has a good offensive line. And I've said it. If you put good players around him, you can win. And I have said that. He's a winning quarterback. You can win. And no, he's not Trent Dilfer. Fish. What a crock of crap that comes out of his mouth sometimes. What a hater, because he's a friggin' Giant fan. But Jackson Dart should play this week. He should play against the Chargers. Oh, what a terrible take, ladies and gentlemen.
Jahmyr, I don't know if you've seen my jokes of the private
Terrible!
Chat. Quarterback hate rankings. Fish number 3, Daniel Jones, right behind Owen and the Beef.
Oh, 100%.
To be fair, I said he should play Jameis this week because maybe Jameis is crazy enough to confuse a good Chargers defense, because who knows what Jameis is going to do.
It's a bunch of doo-doo. Listen, everything that comes out of this man's mouth tonight is doo-doo. It's crap. I've fallen and I can't get up. As the commercials I used to watch as a kid. Mommy, where's Grandma? I run and I can't get up. That's when I listen to this guy. I listen to this guy and I can't get up. I might as well just hit the deck, guys. I'll let you guys speak for the rest of the show.
He's still mad that I injured his eardrum last show.
Yes,
and now
he did.
And now he's struggling.
That's right.
It's been tough. It's been a tough haul.
First of all, I'm wearing. Look. I want you guys to see what I'm wearing right now. Here, this is because of Fish. Here, guys. This is because of Fish.
That's not true. You told me you got those months ago.
See that?
Is that rolled up toilet paper?
No, these things go in your ear. It has an end.
That's dude ears.
No, actually,
that's not dude wipes. That's dude ears.
Actually, these were rated 4.9 on Amazon. Over like 3,000 people have put very high praise on these things. And I can use them when I DJ. I can use them anytime I wear these headsets. So eat my rear end.
Exactly. What didn't happen 2 days ago? You've been going deaf for a while.
By the way, all those takes about Daniel Jones over the last, 6 months, absolute
doo-doo.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute
doo-doo. Droba.
Yes.
Look, I think that Daniel Jones is really great. They should give him a $40 million contract for 4 years next year. It's never gone wrong before. I'm sure it'll work out just fine for them.
Thumb up my ass.
That's probably a lot up his ass. Anyways, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. I love Jack. Jack knows I love him. I love when he comes on a show. I just like busting his balls. And I am not, after what Aaron Rodgers has done to me as a Jet fan, and I love Aaron. I've been following Aaron Rodgers' career. I think he's the greatest quarterback. I've watched football for not 43. I started when I was 6, so it's been 37 years I've been watching football. Okay? And Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've seen in his prime than anybody. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers at the top of his game. I'd put him against anybody. But this man doesn't shut the F up. He always opens his mouth. What he said after that Jet game was just despicable. The Jet players did nothing to him. Did nothing to him. And then he's attacking.
Jack wants to say something so bad right now.
No, he doesn't.
You can
have
just
to.
see it.
He doesn't have to. He could just hear this take. It's good. You could sell it. You could take it. You can, bury it wherever you want, like a bone. A dog likes to bury his bones in one very nice place. Well, I bury my bones everywhere. It doesn't matter who comes on this show. It's getting buried, and it's going to be buried in your brain for the next time you come on. And when I tell you, Aaron Rodgers, what did Aaron Rodgers do? Absolutely nothing. As Mike Tomlin will be looking for a new job at the end of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, I love Mike Tomlin, by the way. I can't bust his bubble. He's a great coach. If he does leave the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think he takes a year off. I do not believe he's going to be coaching another team next year. I think, like we've seen it by many coaches, they take a year off, they see what's out there, and then he'll look at other positions that will open up. I think the guy from the Browns, I think Kevin Stefanski is the big name that I think, if he becomes available and the Browns decide to move away from him, he's the big name that I would be looking at. I would look every single team lining up to hire Kevin Stefanski because I think he is one of the best offensive minds the NFL's seen since Andy Reid.
He'll be the perfect Atlanta Falcons
Andy
head coach.
I'm not a big Sean McVay fan. I've never liked Sean McVay. So I know Jabba has a love fest for him. I love Sean McVay's wife. I mean, she looks good. I mean, that woman can shake and bake anytime she wants. I mean, she could dance on this table if she wants. I mean, if Sean wants to bring her over here and sit right next to me, I don't think he's going to be able to take her home. She'll be hanging out with me after this. But, I got to say, Sean McVay's wife, beautiful. His coaching ability, I don't know about that. I'm not a big fan of the Kyle Shanahan tree, as everybody knows on this show. Kyle Shanahan is the most overrated coach in NFL history. And by the way, what has he won over there in San Francisco? Nothing. 0. Poof. Like a nice little, Dutch. We could ask Mr. Sean Smith about those Dutches that he smokes and he gets high with every single day of his life. So thank you. Thank you, Sean, for making my day a little bit more happier. Anyways, that's Jack Sperry, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a golf club. Give him a golf club. Beautiful. We love him. And by the way, I love the back of that apartment, your beautiful house. I love the refrigerator. I love that whole feeling. It's beautiful. Jack is a beautiful man. He's just a beautiful man. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we call this next segment Save Your Tears. Hey, Jack.
Mom, what's one thing
Jack, why don't
that
you stay
can't
in for
talk?
Save Your Tears? Let's bring Jack in. Jack, you come in for Save Your Tears. You can play with us. Save Your Tears.
One thing that you can't talk to me about.
My sexual fantasies.
No! Say you're sorry!
It is not ideal, but if it's what me, it is not ideal, but if it is not ideal, but if it is what me. You can't triple stamp a double stamp! You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd! You can't triple stamp a double stamp! Lloyd! You
guys! Enough! And now, it's time for Save Your Tears.
Poops gets no cooch.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Save Your Tears. This is for week 4 of the NFL season. We are going to get into it. Again, this is the game where we have a $15 salary cap. There are 5 positions to fill out: quarterback, running back, 2 receivers, and a tight end. Must pick from the column for each one. For the receivers, can't mix columns. So here is the crop of guys you're going to pick from tonight. We picked 3 games. The games are the marquee game of the 1 and 2 teams of the Ravens and Chiefs. We have the Bears taking on the Raiders, and I think that leaves the Panthers facing off against the Pats. So here are the guys we got. $5 quarterback Lamar Jackson, followed by Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Bryce Young. At running back, Derrick Henry is the top guy, followed by Ashton Genty, Chuba Hubbard, DeAndre Swift, and Travion Henderson is probably going to get the carries after everyone else fumbled the ball a million times last game for Pats. At wide receiver 1, Romadunze is the $5 player, followed by Tedero McMillan, Trey Tucker, Kayshon Boutte, and Giants nemesis Tyquan Thornton. Wide receiver 2, Zay Flowers. Errol didn't get it done for you last week, but we know Zay Flowers is a pretty reliable player, followed by Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore, one of Errol's great favorites of all time, Hollywood Brown, and old man DeAndre Hopkins rounded off for $1. And finally, tight end, Brock Bowers is the $5 player, followed by Travis Kelce, Hunter Henry, Mark Andrews, and a $1 player. With close to 11 questionable, we're going to go with Cole Kmet. So again, guys, you're going to pick your rosters. We are going to go through it, and we will go starting off with... Who do we got in today? We got Tommy.
Let's go with Jack.
Let Jack go first.
Let's
get Jack. You want to start us off, Jack?
Yeah, sure. We can start here. I'm going to go with... This one's tough for the quarterbacks. How about this? I'm going to go...
Oh, I should mention, Jack, it's Yahoo PPR scoring.
Oh, so this is fantasy?
We're using that scoring system, so if whatever they get in the week, we're just tallying them all up, whoever your team has made.
Oh, I thought we were just doing this in terms of like a regular lineup, not fantasy, but I can do this here. Let's do... This one's tough. Gotta go for fantasy here. I think I gotta go Lamar Jackson with the 5. It's just too much with the rushing and everything else. Number 2 with the running back, I'm probably gonna go Chuba Hubbard. So that puts me at 8 already. Gosh darn it. Chuba won me my fantasy league last year. By the way, he's phenomenal. I'm gonna go with Kayshon Boutte with the $2 there to save me some money. Kayshon is making some nice catches, making a nice dent in that Patriots offense. I'll go DeAndre Hopkins with $1 there. DeAndre's made some nice catches, so I'll do a little bit of a stack there with Lamar and DeAndre. How much do I have left here? So I got 3.
You got 4.
6. I've got $4 left. All right, so I'm gonna go. Let's go Mark Andrews. Let's go all Ravens here, huh? Let's just go with the Ravens offense. Mark Andrews with the 2 there.
Interesting.
All right, so I have your team as Lamar, Chuba Hubbard, Kayshon Boutte, DeAndre Hopkins, and Mark.
Actually, I think I have a couple dollars left, don't I? I have a couple dollars.
Yeah, you could actually upgrade 2 if you want. If you want to upgrade.
Yeah, let's go Tedorora McMillan with the first receiver then.
All right, so we're gonna go with T-Mac, which would be so much easier if we all just start calling him that.
Teddy Roa, tongue twister.
All right, so Lamar, Hubbard, T-Mac, Hopkins, and Andrews. All right, let's move on to our intern, Jarrett. You're up.
There we go. Well, give me Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, just to use all my budget right away. And then I'm going to go with my Baylor guy, Tyquan Thornton, Hollywood Brown, and Mark Andrews.
Wow, what a squad.
Hollywood. For life. All right, so I got your team, Lamar, Henry for $10, then Thornton, Hollywood Brown, and Mark Andrews. Tommy Scoops, you're up.
All right. I was already looking at this. I'm going to be a big spender. I'm going with Lamar. I'm going with Hubbard.
You're usually thrifty, Tommy. You're the only one that occasionally saves money.
Well, we're going to use all our money here because I'm going with Adunze, and then that leaves me with $2 left, so I'm going with Hopkins and Kmet as my wide receiver 2 and tight end.
All right, Cole Kmet. All right, so I got you with Lamar, Chuba Hubbard, Romadunze, DeAndre Hopkins, and Cole Kmet.
That's correct.
All right, I guess I'll go next. I have not put much thought into this, other than I really liked what I saw out of Caleb Williams last week, so I'm going to go with Caleb Williams for $3.
Hey, Fish, did you see how Errol walked away?
Yeah, he doesn't. So here's the thing, Jack. Errol, one time, copied my entire team. And he doesn't want anyone to think that I would copy that he would copy me. So he's just walking away. So I'm going to go Caleb, followed by, running back's kind of slim this week. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to believe in Travion Henderson. Because I just know after watching, what's his face, fumble twice going into the end zone, he's never getting the ball again. They're just never giving it to him. What's his name? Ramondre Stevenson. They're just not going to give it to him again. He's going to have to earn that back, or everyone else is going to get hurt before him to get the ball. So I think they're going to go heavy dose of Henderson. And Gibson is the other guy, and he fumbled too in the game. So that's as a coach, I'm going with the guy that didn't fumble last week. I'm going Travion Henderson for $1. So I'm going to go with that. So now I have a lot of money left, and let's spend it. I'm going to go with Adunze is acting like he's a top 10 receiver so far this season. And he might be at the end of the year in fantasy. So I'm going to go Adunze, and I'm going to go... Hollywood Brown. How much money did that leave me, Speedy?
Hollywood Brown.
So 7,
Henderson,
10,
Caleb
and
is
1. So I have
$3.
$4. Oh, if I win, because I took Travis Kelce, and he had a wonderful game and dedicated it to his fiance. What a great win that would be for me to brag about. and people have to give me compliments. By the way, Jack, the winner of this gets on the next show, and we can send it to you. We can record it for you. Compliments that have to be 51% genuine from all the losers, because you did such a great job. That is your reward, your winnings for this game. And so that gives me Travis Kelce, Errol. I know you're not taking him.
What's he saying?
He's enjoying the cheese sticks right now, Fish.
He's enjoying the cheese sticks. Back to the cheese sticks. Oh, my goodness. The cheese stick murderer is back.
Okay, hold on. We got to get Jack's opinion as this has become a thing now.
Let's take this down for a second and talk about this.
Errol eats his string cheese like a serial killer. Like, he literally just pulls it apart and then... Do you actually string cheese it, or do you, bite it?
You're muted.
We need this info. This is important.
I string cheese it personally. I actually string it. I might be. Am I a psycho for that, or is that is that weird? Or is that the normal way? That's the way you're supposed to do it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, some people are a little different with how they go about their string cheeses. But look, to each their own. It's a free country, at least so far in America. Let's move on to Speedy Petey.
Oh, we were going to let Nithin go, but Nithin just left the room. So I'll honor I'll honor Mikey C this week. I'll take Drake May for him. I'll go Chuba Hubbard as well. Give me Thornton, give me Myers, give me Bowers.
Hubbard. You said Thornton, Myers, and Bowers?
Yep. One of each number.
Myers and Bowers. Excellent. Let's go to Jabba.
I'm going to go Mahomes,
nice.
Hubbard. I got to go with the booty.
Booty.
And then I'm going to go... Ooh. Errol loves Zay Flowers.
He does.
I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to go Jacoby Myers and Mark Andrews.
All right, so I got you as Mahomes, Hubbard, Booty, Myers, and Andrews. All right. Tell him to put his headset back on.
Well, wait about Nithin.
Let Nithin pick. Nithin.
Is Nithin here?
Nithin's in.
Nithin, I have to adjust
string
my
cheese?
table, of course.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Insert column to the right. Okay, Nithin. Oh, not over there.
Oh.
Nithin, what do you got for us, buddy?
Well, for the quarterback, I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes. Running back,
take Mahomes.
Running back, I'm going to take DeAndre Swift. Wide receiver, I'm going to take McMillan. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Scratch that. I'm going to take Kayshon Boutte. And I'm going to take Mark Andrews.
All right, you got 6 left, Nithin, so you could actually upgrade anywhere if you want.
Nithin's trying to play rollover. He's trying to get us to get rollover points.
Frugal.
I'm going to take Zay Flowers.
All right,
so he saves $1.
All right, so Nithin, I got you with Mahomes, Swift, Booty, Flowers, and Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last but not least, Errol Marks.
All right, here I am. All right, who's Patrick Mahomes playing this week?
The Ravens.
It's Chiefs-Ravens. Chiefs. The games are Chiefs-Ravens, Bears, Raiders, and Patriots-Panthers.
I'm trying to figure out how I would go with this. I know Lamar Jackson would go. It would be the right move over there, but everybody's going Lamar, so I want to go somewhere else. I like Caleb Williams.
Only 3 people went Lamar, just so you know. Only 3.
Yeah,
So
and Patrick Mahomes is in real need of a good game. That's the thing. But Caleb Williams has looked good over the last week. So, and they're playing Vegas, and their secondary is horrible. So All right. I'm just going to go with this way. I'm going to go with this way. I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to go Hubbard. I'm going to go with McMillan. DJ Moore. And how much do I have left?
One left.
I'll go with Cole Kmet.
All right, so I have you as Mahomes, Hubbard, T-Mac, Cole Kmet, and DJ Moore. All right, so here it is. I'll show everybody the entire roster of everybody. We got 2 Mahomes, 3 Mahomes, 3 Lamar Jackson, a May and a Caleb. We've got 5 Chuba Hubbards and a couple of other ones. We got pretty spread out at receiver, I would say. No one really jumps out as being taken a lot. We've got a couple of Cole Kmet. Mark Andrews, 4 people took. Most common. Tight end. Again, compliment chorus coming up next Monday to the winner of Save Your Tears. Because you can't complain about it.
No,
That's
somebody's going to complain. But, Jack, that was your first Save Your Tears. We appreciate you, and we'll let you know if you win. Because there's a good chance you could win. I mean, it's all about luck, honestly. Fantasy's luck. That's luck. But it's fun. It's always fun. Speaking of fun, I don't know if it is fun, but it might be fun for this guy. Speedy's 6-pack of the week.
Let's have a sixer.
Hey, who wants to play Drink the Beer?
It's time for the Speedy 6-pack of the week.
Suck my endo. You want my cream pie?
All right, so Chaz made his debut with this hybrid of the betting and my picks last week. Wes and Johnny, I explained it to you kind of in the text. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to give 6 games with the spreads based on that. If you have any other picks left with over-unders or even any college plays like that, we'll give it to you after that. But you guys will make your picks for each of these games as well. We'll start with tomorrow's game. We'll do the Seahawks. They're 1.5-point favorites on the road at Arizona. I'm going to take the Seahawks here to cover and win the game. So we'll go to Wes first, and then we'll go to Johnny after that.
Yeah, sure. Pick a primetime game, which I don't touch. I'm gonna take the Zona. What spread are you looking at?
So
right now?
I was on covers.
Yeah, I think
So
it's 1.5 right now.
I'm looking at plus 1.5. I'm going to take Zona. I'm going to take them because one, it's primetime game, division opponent. Statistically, the odds are in favor of the home team. Most of the time, you can throw point spreads out the window when it comes down to divisions. Some divisions, are different than others, but primetime, they were originally, this thing opened and Zona was the favorite, 2.5. And there's been some movement within that, but that original number represents the guys that work for those big fancy hotels in Las Vegas that take all our money. And so I like that spread a little bit better. So now I'm finding value getting points. And pound for pound, I think we're getting a better offense with Zona. So plus 1.5 Zona.
It's me.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I think a lot of it was that the public saw the Seahawks beat the Saints by 40 points. And so when they opened up as underdogs, people were like, well, there's no way. The offense of Arizona is kind of been inconsistent with a lot of key drops. Number 2 receivers got 3 catches in 3 games. So I think there's a big public backing of, we just saw the Seahawks put 40 points. But I want to remind people that they put 40 points on the Saints, who may be the worst team in football. And they were at home. Saints are terrible. It wasn't impressive to me. I like the Cardinals, especially catching the 1.5. I think that's just fading the public there.
All right, Jabba, and then we'll finish it off with Errol.
We got heads, the home team, tails, the visitors. Dog, I'm just saying, I'm going to flip the coin because I overthink this shit way too much.
You actually got Chaz to flip the coin last week. It was funny.
Yep. Heads, I got the home team.
All right, so he's got Arizona as well, and Errol rounds it out.
I want to go Seattle, but Arizona, I'm going to go Arizona. I'm going to go with the home team.
All right, we'll go to one of the better games of the week, a battle of undefeated teams. The Eagles are 3.5-point favorites at the Buccaneers. This is an interesting game. Philly's offense finally showing something a little bit. Tampa's always done well identity-wise against the Eagles' offense the way they do it. I think the Eagles win the game close, but I think Tampa does cover. I think the Eagles win by 3, so I'll take the Bucs to cover.
You know, is this me?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, this Tampa head coach knows how to play this Eagles team in the matchup between those two coaches. But I think the Eagles have the better roster. I think that they're going to get after Baker. I love this Tampa team, and I like Baker now more than ever. I mean, everybody loves a good comeback story, but this Eagles roster is too good. The spread opened at 1.5, but I still like it at the minus. I still like it at the -3. And there's weird spreads with odd reverse line movement. Like 55% of the tickets are on Tampa. The spread open at 1.5, and it's moved to 3.5. I like the Eagles in this, and I like them by at least a touchdown.
I think this is an ugly game for me. I really am not really getting a feel for either. If I had to, I got to take the home team, the +3.5. I'll say it. I think the Eagles' offense is ugly. It's boring. It just gets the job done. I think the Buccaneers have really found ways to win games, and it's almost like how much is that going to run out? Because they've won 3 games on 3 last-minute drives. You can't sustain that over a 17-game season. But at this point, I'm really not impressed with either team, even though they're both 3-0. Which is, there's 2 other teams that are, one of them is going to be 1-3, and the Chiefs and the Ravens. So it's early on in the season here. I'll take the +3.5 with the home team.
All right, what will the coin decide?
Got the home team, baby.
All right, Jabba's got the Bucs covering as well.
First of all, to say that the Buccaneers can't keep it up, Kansas City kept it up all year last year, thanks to the old referees. So to say that Kansas City can't do it, I think they can. But not against the Eagles. I think the Eagles are by far the better team. I think the Eagles have proven that. Now, obviously, their offense could be ugly, my friend, Reno, Johnny. But guess what? Ugly wins championships. Have we seen that before? So I've seen it with the Ravens in 2000. I've seen it many, many times. Ugly teams win it. Seattle did too.
It wasn't their offense. It wasn't their ugly offense that won it. It was their tremendous defense that won it.
Ugly. I got the Eagles winning this game, but I think the Buccaneers could cover. But the Eagles are definitely winning this game. You could sell that. You can bank that. Twirl it up and throw it wherever you want. Eagles win the game. Buccaneers probably cover.
All right, let's go to the another primetime game. Sorry, Wes, we got one more because we have one more primetime. We have to reference Reno Johnny's former team, the Dallas Cowboys. Packers are 7-point favorites against the Cowboys in the Micah Parsons revenge game. I think the Packers do cover this spread, even though it is very big. I know, Wes, you might disagree with that because I know your primetime logic.
Well, yes, but I think this scenario, I do like the Packers as well, and I like them to cover the spread. I think that there's just a lot going on psychologically in their favor, not to mention the fact that they're better coach, better roster. Their defense is awesome. They're coming off a game they shouldn't have lost, and they know it. And when you have a roster and a coach like that, and I think that this defense is going to rally behind Micah. There's stuff that never hit the media besides what they wanted us to see. I think this is going to be double digits.
I think Micah Parsons might have a career game. I 100% believe that Jerry Jones is wrong. The Cowboys are wrong. Packers have a better team, better offense, better playmakers, better weapons, better coach, better staff, better fans. I think everything that you could put in a football game, they do it better. Except for maybe merchandise. Cowboys sell a lot of merchandise. But I just think that you have no CD. You really don't have that great of a running game. You have a terrible defense who let up 30-something points against the Giants. This is going to be ugly, and it's going to be ugly fast. And I understand it's prime time, and you just never know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be one of those games where you're turning it off third quarter and hitting the bed early. And Jabba, just don't flip the coin. I think don't flip the coin because you're going to be on Dallas. You're going to be stuck on Dallas. I would just not flip the coin.
He has to stick to his methods.
Dog, I got it. I got to trust it. I got to ride it.
He's got to stick to those guns, Johnny.
All right, here we go. Got the visitor, baby.
Oh, all right. He survives.
I made it. I just wanted to show y'all I'm not cheating.
I think it's going to be a lot closer than you guys think. I think Dak is a lot better than you guys think. I heard Micah Parsons preach very highly of what Dak Prescott is as a leader in the locker room. I think he respects Dak Prescott. I think Micah will play well, but game-changing, his biggest and his best game of his career, I don't believe that. I really don't. I think Green Bay is going to win the game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than you think. Double digits, I don't know about that. But, yeah, Green Bay wins the game. There's no question they win the game, especially with no CeeDee Lamb. But if you got Mr. Number 2 on your roster for fantasy, you know who I'm talking about. Speedy, you know who I'm talking about.
Your boy George Pickens, I know.
George Picky, baby. He is going to have a big day against the Green Bay Packers. Give me the Georgie. I will say he has over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, but I've got Green Bay.
So you got the Cowboys covering, but Packers win?
I don't know. I just have the Packers winning.
All right,
but it'll be a lot closer than you guys think.
All right, we'll stick with that. Before I move on, Johnny, how's your experience being a Jets fan so far with the 2 thrillers that they've lost?
Oh no. I'm a Bills fan. Switched it up. And, I had trouble because I was like, I don't want to be a fan of a good team. I wouldn't know how to act, and I threw that out the window. I'm tired of being a fan of a losing team, so I'm jumping on the Josh Allen Bills bandwagon. Big Bills fan here.
All right, let's move on to some of Errol's favorites in this Jacksonville Jaguars Gremlin versus 49ers Kyle Shanahan and Bambi Sala game. The 49ers are 3-point favorites. I'm going to take them to cover and win this game.
Who picks this roster? Who picks these games, by the way?
After it was Vikings-Steelers. That wasn't going to be much better.
The San Francisco 49ers has the easiest schedule. It's ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd. Go ahead.
Wes, you're up.
This is not a game that I am going to have any capital in. I just, for the record, and I value time more than I value money, and I won't have any time invested in this either. That being said, Jacksonville has played they've probably played the combined 3 weakest opponents that you could start this season with. Not individually, but when you put the package of their first 3 games together, Carolina, the Bengals, and Houston. Houston is a terrible offense. I'm embarrassed to say it because C.J. Stroud is one of my heroes. But they cannot put up points. They are playing terrible teams and not looking good in any way. Trevor Lawrence, I don't know when the world is going to start acknowledging him for what he is, and that's a bust. A total bust, overpaid. Now they're going to travel across the country and go to a much better coach team, a beat-up roster, but nonetheless, they just win a game with Mac. I think this is I'm not going to say it's a mismatch, but I'm going to take San Francisco in this one. Just the travel and who Jacksonville has played and how terrible they've looked against them, even if they've gotten a couple wins. Duval.
Yeah, I'm going to be on a Duval because I'm going to tell you why. Look, I think everything in this game is telling you to take the Niners. They are the better team. They're the better coach team. Trevor Lawrence does not look good. The offense does not look good. Travis Hunter hasn't really looked great. I mean, it's hard to be that two-way star in the
He's
NFL
looked
if you were in college.
Stop it. He hasn't looked great. He looks horrible.
But I think the spread doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You do have an East Coast team traveling to the West, and you're only getting 3.5 points. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I will say, I doubt you're going to get movement. This game is probably one of the uglier games on the board. I'm not sure how much action is going to be involved in this game. So you're going to get kind of a line that doesn't really move throughout the week. I'll take the 3.5 with my chances. I think we see a lot of times when a backup quarterback comes in, like a Mac Jones, like a Carson Wentz, they get that first game. You know, they've been there before. They have a great game. Then they kind of come back to what they are. So I'm going to take the points here with Jacksonville plus 3.5 and just hope that they win by, or keep it close.
To the coin.
Visitor.
All right, he's got the Jags as well.
So they both had Jacksonville winning the game, huh?
Johnny has him covering.
Plus 3. 3.5.
Purdy is not playing. McCaffrey, is he playing?
He's playing.
He's playing. They don't have anyone besides Pearsall. They have nothing over there. I think Brian Thomas Jr. will have a big game because he hasn't had a big game yet. So I think he's going to have a big game.
You've been saying that for 3 weeks.
Yeah, but he's been all right. He just hasn't been great. But that has something to do with Trevor Lawrence. But I think he's going to have a big game against this secondary. I don't think the San Francisco and they lost Nick Bosa. So I think that does affect their defense. I have Jacksonville covering. I do believe San Francisco is going to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville actually wins this game this week.
All right, moving on to the Colts at the Rams. The Rams are 3.5-point favorites. I do think the game is going to be close.
You know where I'm going with
I know where you're going with this. I think it's a tight game. I'm not saying Daniel Jones will play bad, but I think the Rams are going to be a tough one. I'm going to take the Rams here to win this game. Not because of Daniel Jones, though. I think they win a tighter, more mid-scoring game. Wes.
I find it hard to bet against the Colts. I never thought I would say that, but the Rams somewhat let Philadelphia off the hook. I mean, they're coming off of a huge game where they probably played up a little bit. I don't know what the difference is between the Rams and Philadelphia, but we know that Philadelphia is better. So now going back home to play a team who they've only punted once, or they haven't punted at all, the Colts. I find it hard to bet against them, and I'm finding it hard to side with Daniel Jones. But I'm taking the Colts. They just look too good not to. I don't like the reduced number down to 3.5. I would have liked to have the 6.5. But
I would have taken that too. Yeah.
I can't do it either. I think Daniel Jones has, I really don't care. He's looked great. He's got 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's 70%, 71% completion percentage. I think it's really just a testament to how shitty. Can I say that on the lady here? How the Giants organization is run. I just think that you kind of have a competent coach. You have some playmakers, and you kind of let Daniel Jones use his skill set. You don't try to change him to be what he's not. And I think this is one of those things where there's no expectations for him, and that's why he's succeeding. Would have loved to have the 6.5. We're at 3.5. I still will take it. I think the Rams, they really are mediocre to me this year, and I can't lay points with them.
Heads is home.
Home. All right, so you got the Rams.
I'm definitely going with the Colts. I'm definitely.
Because you always get head when you get home.
I think the Colts are going to win. I think it's going to be another run for Daniel Jones against the Rams. I think they're for real. The Colts are for real. They can run the ball. They've got weapons all over the field, and their offensive line right now is ranked number 1 right now in the NFL. So there's no lie about this. Daniel Jones is successful because he's got a great coach, and his offensive line is protecting him and giving time in the pocket. I expect him to do it again against a Rams defense. Very good. And after them choking last week, this will be 2 in a row. 2 losses in a row for the Ramsters. Give me the Colts.
All right, we'll finish it off with the Ravens at the Chiefs. The Ravens are 2.5-point favorites right now. 2 teams that are trying to find their identity. I am going to pick the Chiefs in this one because I think schematically we've seen them have an advantage over Ravens-type defenses. Even losing the receivers that they did, the Ravens secondaries looked like a mess all year. And the Chiefs defense, probably outside of the first half of the Chargers game, has looked pretty good this year. I think the Chiefs win a tight, low-scoring game, which I know Mr. West is very happy about.
Well, I like Baltimore in this game.
Really? Plot twist.
I think Baltimore is too well coached coming off of a game where they were embarrassed at home in prime time. And then now they're traveling to Arrowhead. Arrowhead, it will always be intense. It'll always be loud, all of those things. And Xavier Worthy is going to play. I think Travis Kelce's probably going to have a better game, or at least not be a liability. But the Chiefs secondary, they're going to have to progress further into the season for their secondary to get good. We go back to the last Super Bowl that the Chiefs won, and Snead and McDuffie were buying opportunities for that front 4 to just run wild. They don't have that right now. And what I saw in that game, even though Baltimore lost, I mean, they were going down the field. They were playing the type of game that the Chiefs defense is not ready to defend. So I am wearing a Chiefs hoodie. I hope I'm wrong. I want to lose this one, but I think too much is in Baltimore's favor on this one.
I'm on Baltimore. I think this is not the same Chiefs team. We've seen some frustrations we don't typically see, and a lot of that's got to do with they haven't had Worthy, they haven't had Rashee Rice, who's still on suspension. So a lot of that's their offense has just not been as good. If I take these two offenses and who do I think is going to score, the Ravens offense. The one liability that Baltimore does have is their defense is a lot worse than it has been over the last couple of seasons. Their run defense in particular, their run defense is really atrocious. And they've also had 3 Derrick Henry fumbles in 3 games, which is something that you have never seen him do in his entire NFL career, even back to college. He just did not fumble the football. I think we can get that fixed this week. I also just think the Chiefs defense cannot contend. I know it's at Arrowhead, and this is one of those games where who would have thought that you have a 1-3 Ravens team or a 1-3 Chiefs team to start the season, but that is what is going to happen. I think the Ravens are just the better team this year, and I think they're in a must-win game mode more than the Chiefs are in a weird way. So I think the Ravens do win that game, and I'll take them to cover the 2.5.
All right, Java. All right, heads for home. He's got the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, it's Arrowhead. It's going to be hard to play. The crowd's going to be roaring. Xavier Worthy's going to play. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I don't think this is a good Chiefs team, but I don't think this is a good Baltimore Ravens team either. I think this is going to be Patrick Mahomes' biggest game. He's going to have to show up against Lamar Jackson. He has not shown up all year. I expect him to throw over 300 yards. I expect him to use his legs in this game. I think Patrick Mahomes will have a big day, and this will be close. But I'm gonna go with the home team, Kansas City Chiefs, to win the game.
Wow. You picked the Chiefs and Wes picked the Ravens. I'm shocked.
Yep. I think the Chiefs, just because it's Arrowhead, and I don't think both these teams are very good right now. I think they'll figure things out. I think both teams make the playoffs, but I just don't think they're very good. And everybody thought that. People probably would have thought this was going to be the game of the week going into week 4. Game of the week. This is must watch. This might be one of those games you don't want to watch, just like the Jacksonville Jaguars game against.
Well, Errol, this game might prove to be a very important game.
Yes.
If one of these teams is 2-2, one of these teams is 1-3, you get down to the end of the season, Baltimore's got a better chance at coming back and winning their division. The Chiefs are down 2 already to a team that is playing bully ball right now. But you get to the end of the season, this game might matter in terms of seeding that 5 versus 7, and that will be a big deal. So Baltimore, I see it being an easier road to recovery because they can win the division.
By the way, you could give the drop the Let's Parlay drop, but might as well do that.
Parlay, ole, ole, ole. It's time for Let's Parlay.
Oops, yes, no poops.
Well, all right, so if you guys could give us, if you have any Let's Parlay picks, give it to us quick because we have to move on because we have a long rest of our show.
All right, so I guess do it in bulk. I guess you want to do it in clusters, like we'll have Johnny give all his and Wes gives all his.
Yes.
All right, Johnny will go first for this one. We lost your audio, Johnny.
I'll just give one out.
Okay.
Because I gotta get my son to sleep here. We'll go Bengals plus 7.5 against Denver. I think Browning's better than he showed last week. I think the Vikings were on some different type of drugs that we are not available in the market yet. They really showed up. I think the Bengals are not that bad. So defense struggles for sure, but I think Browning will be able to put up some type of points against the Broncos. Touchdown is just too much.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us, Johnny. You can tend to your kids.
Say hello to the kitty.
Yes.
Say hello to the kitty,
Bye,
Mr.
guys.
Coach.
I'm a lot of college right now. I don't think the NFL lines have settled in enough to where I'm comfortable reading them. We're seeing weird numbers like 4.5 and weird home dog scenarios in primetime. Like so most of my focus is college. There's 3 games that are interesting, but I'm going to give you one pick. The 3 games where the line movement is interesting is the Kansas game, the Auburn game, and the Alabama game, where you have all of the ticket activity on one side, but the line moves the other way, which means it's either money or the house. So those games are worth a look. But the game I'm going to give you is I'm taking Oregon on the road to outright win at Penn State. I don't know why Penn State is getting all this love. I know that their quarterback is getting all kinds of love and recognition towards draft and things like that. Dan Lanning, for his background in coaching and the side of the ball that he came up on, is becoming quite the quarterback whisperer. If you just look at his brief history in Oregon and look at what Dante Moore is doing right now, 11 TDs to 1 interception. That Oregon team has a nasty defense. They're well coached. Like they're going to get on an airplane with the goal to go to Pennsylvania and kick some ass and go home. That's their mentality. I think that Oregon's going to outright win, and it's going to be real fun to watch all of the cries about Penn State afterwards. It's 3.5 point spread. I like Oregon outright, but I'm going to take the points too.
All right, Mr. West, we love you, man. Thank you for joining us as always, and I'll talk to you. I haven't had a chance to talk to you one-on-one on the phone. We will before the week is over, my friend. I love you, man. Keep up the good work.
Yeah. It's good talking to you guys.
Worldwide West, me and Wes have become very good friends, and this is a guy that knows his sport. So, if you haven't followed his picks in Canadian
I do
football,
owe you this, Wes.
There he is, the Silk Shocker. In Canadian sports, I think he was like at almost 70% this year. It's been crazy. So he knows.
I stopped throwing the plays out there because we're at 68. Weird things in the CFL right now.
Yeah, and he's great. So keep up the good work. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we have the MLB playoff race. As we all know, we'll get into that. And we have In Like Flynn, Goody's Bag of Balls, and What's That Smell? But we'll go to the Sports Minute with Fish and then move on.
3, 2, 1. This is the Jabba and the Mouth Sports Minute.
What is up, everybody? Aaron Fishman here with another Sports Minute for you. A couple of stories before we get into the baseball scores tonight. Utah Jazz rookie forward Ace Bailey has parted ways with his manager Omar Cooper and is now looking for new representation, sources told The Athletic on Wednesday. Bailey made news in the pre-draft process by having his management tell teams inside the top 5 that he didn't want to play there and wouldn't report if drafted, trying to gain leverage in the draft process. One of the teams on Bailey's list that he was not going to get drafted by was the Utah Jazz, led by the new president of basketball operations, Austin Ainge, and they weren't intimidated by Bailey's management and selected the Rutgers forward 5th overall in the draft anyway. Bailey ended up reporting to the team without any incident and played in the Summer League. Bailey's expected to compete for a starting position on the Jazz right away after averaging 17.6 points per game and 7.2 rebounds for the Scarlet Knights in 2024. And Oklahoma State University fired their head football coach Mike Gundy on Tuesday after the team fell to 1-2 with a loss to Tulsa. Cowboy football reached an unprecedented level of success and national prominence under Coach Gundy's leadership, Athletic Director Chad Weiberg says. I believe I speak for OSU fans everywhere when I say that we are grateful for all he did to raise the standard and show us all what is possible for Oklahoma State football. Gundy, who is currently 58, is probably best known for his famous "I'm a man, I'm 40" press conference 18 years ago. Gundy, who had a 170-90 record as head coach, had his best season in 2011 when Oklahoma State won the Fiesta Bowl in a shootout over Andrew Luck's Stanford Cardinal, finishing the season number 3 in the country. The firing comes as the team has lost 11 of its last 12 games dating back to the 2024 season. Gundy had been recently in the news critical of the spending Oregon does on its football team ahead of the game in which the Ducks demolished the Cowboys 69-3, with Coach Dan Lanning rubbing it in that Gundy added fuel to the fire with his comments. As someone who is approaching their own 40th birthday, Coach Gundy's famous quote has been on my mind, as well as that of our co-host Jabba Chamberlain, who ironically turned 40 on the same day Gundy lost his job. Guys, we are streaming live on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube on the Job in the Mouth handle, on Facebook under the Worldwide Sports Radio Network handle, and on Twitter under our host handle, @ErrolMarks34. Keep downloading on Apple Podcasts and watch us both there and on Spotify, now in video. Make sure to like and subscribe to all our shorts, reels, TikToks, and longer videos that you see from us throughout the week. Now back to Errol, Jabba, and Speedy for our next segment on Jabba and the Mouth.
Any questions?
What is this? We're back. This is the Jabba and the Mouth Show.
Another toe job. Yeah, that went over like a fart in church. Made my nipples hard. He tastes himself. Yeah, I got the bubble gum. I can take shit.
631-672-3108 is the number to call. That is an ugly picture. I do not look, well, I look like a muscular dog. I mean, that's a nice smile. What am I supposed to be like?
That's not terrible.
No, I look like a bulldog with a hat on. Anyways, you're listening to Jabba and the Mouth. I'm the Mouth, Errol Marks, my co-host, flamethrower himself, Jabba Chamberlain, with no glasses tonight. Looks absolutely different. Skinny Jabba Chamberlain. And Mr. Speedster himself. Go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Check out all our shows throughout the week, including Jabba in the Mouth, every single Mondays and now Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. All you have to do to tune in and check out our local listings for all the shows is go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Happy birthday to the fish beautiful wife, Crystal. I know he's not going to be joining us for the rest of the show. Fish is on his way to occupy his beautiful wife for the rest of the night. So congratulations. Happy birthday to the old, lovely, I don't want to say old because I don't want to get myself into trouble, the lovely Crystal Fisherman herself. So Fishman. So, and by the way, we will sing happy birthday at the end of the show for the old jobster. I wanted to wait, but happy birthday. Happy, is it 40th? 39th, right? It's 39.
No, I'm 40.
40, man. 40. The big 4-0 for the jobster. That's not bad.
I look better than ever.
Yeah, you do. You look good, man. I interesting hat, by the way, but very unique hat. I've never seen you wear it. This is the first time I'm wearing my Von Dutch. It's a beautiful Von Dutch. By the way, I bought this recently.
Is it leather?
It isn't. No, it's not. It's just got a shine to it.
Looks like it's leather.
Yeah, it's got a nice shine to it. I love it. I like the style. I had to buy it, and it's beautiful. By the way, speaking of buying, don't be a clown sitting on trashed rentals from Homes from Hell. Don't be a clown. Get paid for it. These guys at WeWannaBuyYourHouse.com pay cash fast. Closing days, no fees or headaches. WeWannaBuyYourHouse.com. Go type it in, scan the QR on the page. It's easy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have to get into some baseball conversation as a little MLB conversation. Two teams that are on the verge of a historic collapse this baseball season are the Detroit Tigers and New York Mets, who are now barely holding on to two final playoff spots in their leagues. After the Guardians beat the Tigers yesterday, and the Guardians and the Tigers are now tied in the American League Central, with the Guardians holding the tiebreaker if they finish the season with the same record. The Guardians have gone 9-1 in their last 10 games, while the Tigers have gone 1-9 in their last 10 games. The Guardians trail the Tigers by 8.5 games just 13 days ago, and now we're down as many as 15.5 games in July. The Mets have collapsed in similar fashion, going 5-11 in their last 16 games. The Mets had the best record in baseball on June 12th at 45-24. But since then, they are tied with the White Sox for the fourth worst record in baseball at 35-52. The Mets are currently one game ahead of the Diamondbacks and the Reds for the last playoff spot, but don't have a tiebreaker game. Well, why is this popping up? I don't know why that popped up. What the hell's going on here? I'm sorry. And the Mets currently have a one game ahead of the Diamondbacks and Reds for the last playoff spot, but don't have the tiebreaker against either of those teams. If the Mets miss the playoffs, they would be the third team in MLB history to finish the playoffs after being 21 games over 500. Let's go to the Mets first. This is an absolute collapse. I don't want to hear about Juan Soto. Yes, the one and only Juan Soto everybody loves, which I don't, by the way. Juan Soto's a bitch. As we all said in the beginning of the season, I've said he's a bitch. Crybaby antics about the damn All-Star game. He's having a sensational year, a year that we have not seen an MLB player in New York ever have. And he could end up the season with 50 home runs and 40 stolen bases. Who the F cares? If the Mets don't make the playoffs and they fall short, this is a guy, Steve Cohen, that spent a lot of money. They paid him $768 million in the offseason. And this is a pitching staff with some of the youth and young talent that they have, and McClain and Tong and all the guys that they've brought up. They have a future. But this pitching staff has been one of the worst in the league, and we've said this over and over and over again. The Mets should have went after pitching, not hitting in the offseason. They had no problems in the playoffs hitting the ball. Vientos was one of the best hitters in the playoffs, and Lindor did the things that he needed to do in the playoffs. Pete Alonso hit that big home run, 3-run home run against the Brewers to knock them out of the playoffs. The offense wasn't the problem last year. It was their pitching. And again, going back to what the Mets did in the offseason, David Stearns and what everybody thought he did in the offseason was sensational, bringing in a Juan Soto. Juan Soto, again, is having a memorable year and one of his best years, if not his best year as a professional athlete. It doesn't matter. The Mets could be looking at a new manager in the offseason. The manager choking the way he has. I mean, I don't know if the Mets are going to go that far, but this is a team that has not been very, very good. Really, since the All-Star break, if you're getting compared to the White Sox, there's a problem. The White Sox have been one of the worst organizations in professional baseball since Ozzie Guillen. Yes, you heard it. Ozzie Guillen, remember him? I mean, Tony La Russa took over this team. Is he there? Is he actually coaching that team and managing that team anymore? No. It's a bunch of choke artists, and the White Sox are a bad organization. When you're being compared to them, there's a problem. And then there's the Detroit Tigers. This has been a good team all season long. And then the story broke recently about these executives and some of the broadcasters being involved with these sexual, antics off scene of baseball. I mean, Detroit and the Tigers, you would have expected them to make a real big run. I thought they had everything. They have one of the best pitchers in baseball. You can argue he is the best pitcher in baseball. You have a young lineup as good as they have been all season. You had five players make the All-Star team this year on this Detroit Tigers team. They were unstoppable. I mean, Gleyber Torres looked like he was going to get paid a lot of money in the offseason and then has completely fallen off in the second half, especially in the last, I would say, 20 games. Gleyber Torres has not been very good. I don't know what's going on with the Detroit Tigers, but the Guardians, we've seen this before. I'm not surprised the Guardians made a run like this. The Guardians are very well managed. You could argue they have the best manager in baseball. And they always have a good pitching staff. And their pitching staff somehow figures it out in the second half. If you look at the Cleveland Guardians' record in the second half in the last 3 seasons, you can argue this is the best team in baseball in the second half. If you look at their record in the last 3 years, it's remarkable. And I know Job is going to talk about Jose Ramirez and how he is a game-changing player. He's one of the most underrated players in the league. It's proving it right now. You're not going to be talking about him as an MVP candidate, but if you look at his numbers in the second half, especially what he's done, not only being in a lineup,
he'll be in the top 5 like he usually is.
Yeah, but he's not going to win it. It's going to one or the other guy, one or the other. We've been speaking about,
right.
But the fact is Jose Ramirez. You can see why he is such a special player. You can see why the Guardians are making a run like they are. They're dangerous. As we look at their record, we talk about the Yankees, and I know we haven't spoken enough about the Yankees. I wanted to air this one out because Fish did not put this in. Congratulations to Aaron Boone. I don't care what anybody says about Aaron Boone and how bad of a manager this man is. If you look at the Yankees' record in the last 60 games, he has one of the best. The Yankees have one of the best records in baseball. And for all the pitching woes they've had, Devin Williams just absolutely being so bad in the first half. Go look at Devin Williams' numbers in the last 20 games. Look at this pitching staff in the last 20 games. Since Max Fried came back from that blister, Max Fried you can argue, is not only a Cy Young candidate, he's been the best pitcher in baseball since he's come back from that blister injury. It's been remarkable. This team, Aaron Judge said it best yesterday after winning and getting in, and they could win the division still. Crazy as it may sound, Toronto had a 6-game lead a week and a half ago, and there was no way in hell that the Yankees were going to win the division. And tonight, the Yankees just tied I'm sorry, not the Detroit Tigers.
Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays for first place in their division. The Yankees could absolutely win the division, as Aaron Judge said yesterday after getting in. I think this Yankee team is flying high in the perfect time. Bellinger's hitting, Judge is hitting, this whole roster's hitting, and they're getting the pitching that they need in the bullpen. They're going to be a hard out. It's crazy to say this because I didn't think that the Yankees could really cut it. And over the last 55 games, the Yankees have been the best team, or you could argue top 3 team right now in baseball. Congratulations to Aaron Boone for all the people that were taking shots at him and saying that he's done, he needs to be fired. Yankee fans, you could choke up whatever you want. I've loved Aaron Boone. I've stuck up for Aaron Boone. I didn't like him this year. I thought he was going to get fired at the end of the year, but what a remarkable 50 games Aaron Boone has as a manager. Congratulations to him. And I'm not surprised about the Mets and the Tigers because I believe the Cleveland Guardians are as dangerous as a second-half team as any team in baseball. So congratulations. If the Guardians pull this one off, remarkable. Absolutely remarkable.
Yeah, we talked earlier in the season about the Mets' clutch stats and how they've been down for a lot of baseball throughout the year. I think they were 8th worst at the time. And if you want to nitpick on anything with Soto, in addition to obviously his fielding, which you didn't expect to be good, it's been that this year. And we've seen in a lot of these instances recently against the Nationals. They lost 2 out of 3 in August to the Nationals. They lost 2 out of 3 recently to the Nationals. They lost to the Marlins. A lot of that had to do with losing a lot of those close games, and eventually those add up. And you don't want this kind of thing in kind of reverse mode from last year when the Mets had that slow start. Obviously, Jorge Lopez, the notable throwing the glove into the stand debacle, and then the Mets rallied around that. It's kind of going in reverse, and they're letting all this thing carry over. And it got to the point where it's really messing with a lot of their fundamentals. Jeff McNeil has made really bad throws recently in yesterday's game, and Brandon Nimmo, not the same in the field. He had a big home run recently, but it's really a fielding and pitching issue all at once that's really accumulated. Outside of Diaz and Brooks Raley, and obviously the kids that have come up, but nobody has pitched well. And Errol, like you're saying, Carlos Mendoza has been very suspect, like not bringing the pitchers in the right times out of the bullpen either, and it's really adding up. The Tigers, I think, is a different.
Do they fire him in the offseason?
If they miss the playoffs, I think you don't have a choice. I think he's gonna go, and he did so well last year. You sympathize with that kind of thing. I don't think he's terrible, but some of the mistakes that he was making in the second half definitely cost them. Detroit, I think, had a different issue. You mentioned the stars that they have, but I think the depth was a concern for them after the trade deadline. They didn't really bolster.
I think that story hurt them too.
I do too. That I think was the psychological end, and I think from the depth building standpoint, I like Kyle Finnegan. I think he's pitched well. They didn't build up the bullpen enough, though. They had a lot of guys that were hurt. They're starting pitching outside of Skubal has a 5.78 ERA since the trade deadline, so that is not going to win you games. Cleveland, I give them a lot of credit. They rallied around the whole Clase and Ortiz scandal.
They're scary.
Yeah.
They have the best manager in baseball right now. He's going to win Manager of the Year. And this roster is just clicking at the right time. And you know what the Guardians' pitching is. They're just lights out. That bullpen is it's crazy how good the bullpen's been. In the last 2 months, I think they have the best ERA in baseball, that bullpen. We've seen how dominant they are. The question is, are they going to do it in the playoffs? The Yankees got to them in the playoffs last year. Can they, if they match up against the Yankees at one point this year in the playoffs, can they do what they couldn't do last year? That's the question.
Final thoughts before you guys go. I just want to mention with the Guardians, I think they're kind of one of those weird teams that do well more as an underdog than they do as like a heavier favorite. They were a 2 seed last year. They squeaked by a Tigers team, but they could have very easily lost that series. And we saw sometimes when they're the higher seeds and they end up losing earlier to the Yankees or to even teams that weren't as talented than them. But they have a sense of adversity with Clase and Ortiz getting admitted in that scandal, and they had that bad losing streak after the trade deadline. They rallied around that since then, and they've just been playing their game since then. And they played like the small ball. They're doing a lot with what the Brewers have done all year, and it's working for them.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Tigers, I think it's kind of a tale of two seasons. Like last year, you looked at they started off awful, and then they got hot at the right time. And this year is like, holy cow, is anybody going to beat the Tigers with, the best record in baseball at one point? Yeah. And then it turned into, holy crap, we've got Scooble, and that's about it. It literally went, I talked to my people from Detroit, it went from, wanting to go to every game, now you're just going when Scooble throws. And that's just kind of the way their season turned around. And then, I mean, the Guardians with what they are, it shouldn't surprise anybody at this point when they always make a run, no matter where they're at. They've always been the underdog just because they don't really ever have a huge name. I mean, it's just, obviously I love Jose Ramirez and what he is. And, he doesn't fly under the radar, as much as he used to, because everybody's like, all right, let's stop talking about him as underrated, because he's not. And it's just one of those deals where they really, that when David Fry got hit in the face, that's rough. And, the crazy part about that is, in that inning, it's the first time a Cy Young pitcher in Scooble has thrown a wild pitch, balked, and made an error all in one inning. And that, I mean, you guys don't understand how that affects your psyche when you hit somebody. It sticks with you because you see it, and it's rough. And after that, you kind of seen, then he gave up the homer to Riley Green. So it's interesting to see those dynamics and the Mets. I don't know what you can say. It's the first time in history that there's been a team they had a 7+ losing streak in June, they had a 7-1 in August, and they have had an 8+ in September. Yeah. So. And it's just they as you well know, Speedy, they found every which way to lose. And,
I mean, the Saturday game was unfortunate, where the guy had 2 home run robberies in center field.
Right.
Besides that, they're beating themselves.
Right? And I think it does. Mendoza does a great job with this year. I think it's just been so all over the place that it's really kind of been, it always falls on his shoulders or whatever, but. And Soto, you think about the crazy year when we're like, oh, slow start. What he did this year is great. I mean, he had 40 homers, 100 bags, 100 walks, 100 runs, 30 steals. There's only been 2 other people in baseball history to do it, and that's Barry Bonds and Jeff Bagwell, which Bagwell surprised, Bonds did not. But so just imagine if he didn't get off to a slow start. So just seeing those epic, I mean, that's why you play 162, because you never know what's going to happen. And what makes it fun, and now you got people fighting and clawing to get in, and then people playing spoiler. Obviously the Reds fighting and clawing. Who me and Goody were like, what, they're gonna be in it, and I mean they were. And then to lose the first 2 going into the last few games of the season. So yeah, it's all around. It's been fun. This is a great time, and see. Now you get the tiebreakers, and that last wild card makes things really, really interesting. And, it's you always get one epic fail or epic run that goes into it. And, you went from having the best record. Now I think the Mets don't have the worst record in the last 70 games. They're number 3.
No, they're 4th worst. They're tied for 4th with the White Sox.
My bad.
That's only behind. I think it's the Nationals, the Rockies, and the Angels, I think, are the only other 3, which are all poverty franchises besides Washington, I think.
That was the Mets have just absolutely blown it. I mean, I give some lessons to some guys and their favorite teams, the Mets, and I always give them crap because it's just unbelievable what happened. But I had Carlos Mendoza as a manager in the minor leagues, and I thought he was an amazing manager. Actually, one of my favorite. I had him through 2 seasons, and so I don't necessarily put all the blame on Mendoza, but I mean, he's the one they're going to go after.
Yeah, there he is. Because again, you look at the pitching at the deadline too. You're using guys that are trying to rebirth guys that have struggled, and he's been using Helsley, he's been a bust since he come over. It happens, and he's still trying to use him, trying to get him to work in the most highest leverage situations. The Java, we were talking about this with the Padres. They made Mason Miller, Robert Suarez, that combo work. Why can't the Mets do that with those relievers and put Diaz in other spots that they're more comfortable with? I think that's hurt them.
He did that the other day.
He did
you
that
see
finally.
The 2-inning save that he got?
He finally did that, but I think it took a while for them to do that, and I wish he just did that more. So that Goody, I don't think he's a bad manager either. I just think some of the decisions have been very costly, and those accumulate over time. But mainly, it's what you were describing, Jabba. Like, once they lose a couple games, it really just accumulates.
It's also remarkable, and I know a lot of people, we're looking at the complete downfall of some of these teams, but we have to look at what some of these teams have done in the last 50 games. And that's why I had to add the Aaron Judge New York Yankees, because I think a lot of people counted the Yankees, including me. I counted the Yankees out.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude, you were ripping the Yankees all season.
I counted the Yankees out. I really did. I didn't think they had enough. And honestly, as much as people hate Brian Cashman, Jabba Chamberlain, Brian Cashman made the moves that he needed to at the trade deadline, and they finally are starting to look like they're working. And again, I know a lot of Yankee fans think Brian Cashman has weighed out his welcome. He shouldn't be here anymore.
What he did was he built up a nice cushion lead in the AL East at the trade deadline. He said, you know what? Let me go expend all these guys, get back these Major League All-Stars. I know it takes a little bit of time for them to break into New York and learn how to pitch there. So I have that buffer of a few games of leading the East. And now that they've broken in, they know how to pitch New York. They know how to handle the pressure. Now you're seeing the fruits of your labor. He's genius.
Yeah.
Absolutely genius.
I just saw a stat that said teams with the amount of days in first place to miss the playoffs, it'd be 173 days if they miss with the Mets, or 175 with the Mets, 173 with the Tigers, and the last team to do it was the Mets at 178 in 2007.
Wow.
Another one you would probably want to throw in there too is like historic. If the Tigers do hang on, it would be the Astros too.
I don't think the Tigers hang on. I think the Guardians are going to win the Central. I do. I think the Tigers are going to fall completely flat.
I told you they're good. They just they hit this moment where it's like, all right, you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. And when they had that like streak of losing, and it's like, all right, do we want to play in the postseason this year or do we not?
They kicked in.
It's probably what one of the guys had in the because if we do, we need to step it up because this ain't cutting it. And the next thing you know, boom,
it's remarkable.
First place.
Absolutely remarkable. Both the Yankees and the Guardians look like
the Mets will make it in though. The Reds will blow it.
Hope you're right, Java. Hope you're right.
I know Goody's hoping.
I was trying to give you some solace there, Speedy. Like, I mean, it sucked. That matchup early today, Hunter Green.
You know what? I want the Mets to make it too, Java, because I don't want to hear Goody say, "I told you about Cincinnati, Terry Francona. I told you." I'm waiting.
I was on that train too. I was on that train.
But listen, you just don't understand. Like, it matters. He matters.
I got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Matters.
We got to go into our next segment in Lake Flynn.
Welcome to Sherwood, my lady. I've often heard that you'd give me a warm welcome if ever we met again.
In Lake Flynn.
How about rattling her? Let me tell you something. So Fish asked me, where do I attack this? And in Lake Flynn, what I do is I go for rankings. And I'm going to tell you if I think they sit there in the rankings or I don't think they sit there in the rankings, and either I'm going to push them or move them around the way I think. Well, I was looking at PFF during the show, during, the yappy back and forth with our boys from Let's Parlay. And I want to go into top corners when it comes to PFF. And going into the season, there were a lot of guys that kind of sit, and I didn't understand it. But I'm going to go through what PFF rated these guys and where do I think, if I think they sit there right now as a player at the corner position and as a PFF guy. So right now, going into the season, at number 10, they had Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward, Cleveland Browns, great corner, high draft pick, has been sensational. 17 forcing incompletions over the last couple of years. He had an 80.4 PFF coverage grade last season. Going into this season, they had him at number 10. I'm going to tell you this. What Denzel Ward has done this year, I'm going to put him higher. I think he's even a higher corner right now than at grade 10. At number 10, I'm going to put Cooper DeJean. I think Cooper DeJean right now is absolutely a top 10 corner. They had him at number 11. I move him up to top 10. He's had a sensational year for the Eagles. Athletically gifted, so great. Last year, in 2024, his PFF was at an 84.1 coverage grade. This year, it's over 85. He's been as good as any corner in the league right now. So I have Cooper DeJean at number 10. At number 9, they have Jahmyr Alexander. Jahmyr Alexander is not, I repeat, not in the top 10 right now. I don't care what anybody says. He's not. I think you could go Witherspoon or you can go Christian Gonzalez. I'm going to go Christian Gonzalez at number 9. The star corner, he's had a lot of injuries this year. I mean, over the last couple of years, but he's been sensational when he's played. Going to the season, his PFF was 78.2. It's over 80% right now. He's one of the more underrated young corners in the league. I remember played for Oregon. He kind of fell in the draft, and that was Bill Belichick's last first-round draft pick. And what a gift he gave to the New England Patriots. I put him at number 9. At number 8, they have Christian Benford. Benford is not in the top 10 either. I don't know where they're going with this. I don't get it, but hey, if that's where they're going, I'm going to put, you heard this from me, and I hate to say that, I'm going to go with Jalen Ramsey right now at number 8. He's been sensational, really, for the first 3 weeks. He's been a class act, well, not much of a class act in his career, but he's been a class act for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been fun to watch. He really has been. He's really changed certain aspects of that secondary. Fitzpatrick he's fallen off going to Miami, and you bring Jalen Ramsey a little cheaper at the position. He's a Hall of Fame corner. He's been sensational. I'll put him at number 8. Number 7, they have Marlon Humphreys, okay? I think Marlon Humphreys has not been good this year. I really don't think he has. I'm going to put, and I'm going to say this, Quayon Mitchell. That's where I think Mitchell has been sensational. Young last year. He was sensational as a rookie corner. I'm going to put him. I think he's been really, really good. This duo of DeJean and Mitchell has been, you can argue, one of the best in the league over the last 2 seasons. They've been sensational. Rookie defensive pair, and I think defensive rookie of the year, both of them have been sensational. They should have been dual defensive rookie of the year. So I would put him at number 7. At number 6, DJ Reed. Really? I can't believe they put DJ Reed over here. It doesn't make any sense. DJ Reed is not in the top 10. That makes no sense at all. So I was looking at the list that they had, and there's a lot of different guys that are on this list, but you guys might think I'm crazy. I'm going to go Jamel Dean. I'm going to put Jamel Dean there. He's been really good this year. Last year, his PFF was 78.9, which was PFF, he was 11th. I'm going to move him all the way up. Yes, all the way up to 6. That's how good the Buccaneers secondary has been this year. So I put him at number 6, DJ Reed. So this has been like a clash of craziness. So at number 5, they have Derek Stingley. Derek Stingley's been a top 3 corner. PFF this year. Believe it or not, he's been sensational. So at number 4, they have Jalen Johnson. All right? Johnson's been good this year at the secondary. I would move Jalen Johnson at 5 because he's been high. His PFF has been very high. Even this year, they're not throwing on his side. So I would put Johnson there, and I move Stingley up. At number 4, I'm putting Trent McDuffie. McDuffie right now on that list is number 3. McDuffie right now, to me, is number 4. He's been good. You can't argue he's been one of the better corners in the league. His PFF is over 85%. I still think he's a top 5 corner when it comes to PFF and his grade. He's one of the best corners in the league. I put him at number 4, and he's going to get paid. Did he get paid yet?
Not yet. They're still negotiating.
He'll get paid next year a lot of money. If it's not from Kansas City, it'll be from somebody else. So McDuffie at number 4. At number 3, Sauce Gardner. Going into the season, they had him at number 1. Last year, he was number 1. His PFF is still very high for the New York Jets, but he's dropped the ball a couple of times. He should have intercepted a ball at least twice this year. He has not really gotten it done for the Jets in the secondary. I think he's fallen in my grade at number 3. So I put him number 3 on my PFF list. At number 2, yes, ladies and gentlemen, all the way up at number 5, Derrick Stingley Jr. 90%. Yes, the Texans' defense has been very, very good. And he's been sensational. This is a guy that was drafted in the same draft class as Sauce Gardner and drafted higher than Sauce. Even though Sauce has been the better corner, I disagree. Stingley's been better this year in the first 3 games of the season. Derrick Stingley Jr., 90% PFF in his rookie season, 90% again in his, 3rd or 4th year as a corner in the league, and got paid a lot of money about a year ago.
Yeah, he got paid, I think, 27, then Sauce got paid 30.
Patrick Surtain is my number 1 guy. He was number 2 on this PFF list last year. This is by far the best corner in the NFL. Defensive Player of the Year. This year, even with their woes, and really, I would have thought that this secondary would have been just an absolute game changer. They haven't been, but it's not because of Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain is still elite. Still, no team wants to throw it on his side. They've stayed away from his side. Last year, he was an 89.5 PFF. This year, over 90%. He is the best corner in the NFL. PFF, whatever way you want to put it, I don't think it's an argument.
Why? Why is he clear-cut the best?
Oh, shut down! And nobody
like when you Steph Curry, best 3-point shooter, right? Like what makes Patrick Surtain
shut down?
Just a clear cut.
Shut down. I mean, you throw it inside.
For people who might not know, is that his footwork or is he
No, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's everything.
Closing speed or
everything.
He's just a
combination of everything.
Player.
Everything. He's everything. He is what you look for in a corner: size, ability, athletically gifted. You can move him anywhere. You can move him in a slot. You can move him on the outside. You put him one-on-one. When you talk about this day, Darrelle Revis, this day, Deion Sanders, I think Patrick Surtain has proven himself to be, over the last 8 years, has been the elite corner in the NFL. He hasn't even been in the league for 8 years, but I would say 7 or 6 years he's been in the league. He has been as elite as any corner we've seen in a 10-year span. He's just everything. Nobody wants to throw it his way. And tell me the last corner that won Defensive Player of the Year. Charles
Stephon Gilmore, I think it
was. Was it Gilmore?
Gilmore in 2018.
You sure? Or Charles Woodson?
No, Gilmore won one.
Gilmore won.
Yeah.
All right, so it was
but
Gilmore.
You're right. It was before that. It was a while.
And Gilmore, I don't even know if he's a Hall of Famer. I wouldn't say that he isn't. Charles Woodson is. Mm-hmm. Patrick Surtain is. If he were to retire today, Charles Woodson, Patrick Surtain is a Hall of Famer. I mean, you look at his numbers. I mean, it's unbelievable when you look at what he does in a game, for not only for the Broncos, but in the league when you're comparing the best
corners. How old
corners.
is he?
27. That's what I think he's 27 years
old.
old.
So, when do cornerbacks hit their prime?
He is in his prime.
He's in his prime.
He's in his prime.
How many? 25.
25. He's 25.
Not that. What is the shelf life of their career?
Career
usually?
Corners could play 33, 34, depending on the type of corner that he is. But the way he plays the game, he plays up on top. He's mean. He plays mean, and he doesn't talk crap on the field. He lets his game do the talking. Yeah, if you ask anybody that's played against Patrick Surtain, he's not like a Steve Smith or one of those guys that talks. He just punches you in the chin, and he makes you know that if you're going to throw on his side, you're going to feel it, and you're going to pay for it. So, and that's why teams just completely stay away from his side of the field. So, I'm going Patrick Surtain as my number 1 guy. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is my In Like Flynn of the week. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Goody's bag of balls.
My mom was going to wire a car battery on my testicles.
Trying to put Tiger Bomb on this jungle's nuts.
Goody's bag of balls.
That's how you become great, man. Hang your balls out there.
All right, I got a couple things we want to go over. The first one is, and it's come out, and we know what we're talking about here, but MLB, Major League Baseball, we use the automatic ball strike challenge system. It's the ABS system that we have spoke about multiple times on this show. but they're going to use it during the entire 2026 season. There's now challenge rules. Each team will get 2 challenges and can keep them if they're successful. And then challenges can only be initiated by a pitcher, catcher, and I think what else was it? Pitcher, catcher, and manager, probably.
I think, yeah.
Pitcher, catcher, and
You would
manager.
hope the manager.
Yeah. What do we got? I think it could be a good thing. I think like in major games, these game of inches, baseball's a game of inches, and so the guy misses the call. That can be the difference between going to the postseason and going home.
I think it's good because you're only going to get 2. What I think is really going to be interesting is I think as much as people are hating on the fact, like, is the human aspect coming, I think it's going to hold umpires more accountable because now it's the immediate satisfaction of, hey, we're going to know. So maybe that low strike and the framing and stuff now is going to be different because this is like, hey, turn around. Yep. And the average, so there's 2, so there's 4 total, correct? The average that they did it is 13.4 seconds. So when we talk about pace of play and people are like, oh, baseball's too slow, that's less than a minute if you're doing all of it.
Think about how crazy this is going to be. Manager challenges it, doesn't win the challenge on a close play, right? Later in the game, guy gets banged on a curveball or fastball outside the zone, can't challenge it. The guy wants to challenge it, clearly can't. And then now the umpire has to turn around because if an umpire gets a call wrong in a very important game and the guys are out of challenges and he has to turn around and freaking see that he got it wrong, like everybody's gonna know every umpire's name. Like they're gonna get it. Their Twitter feed is gonna be blown up.
Yeah, well, you got to understand too.
Like they're gonna get like death threats. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, and it's also it's gonna come down to strategy. Like obviously, when do you use them? Like, is it early critical situations? Like how? Like I'm very, very interested in. Everybody's always with everything that's changed in baseball and so on and so forth. But the players adapt very, very easy. It's the fans that it takes longer to adapt to. But I think it's going to hold them accountable more because now it's going to be like, okay, CB Buckner, you get your umpire grades on X and you can see all this stuff. But now it's like during a game in the bottom of the 9th that could change the whole dynamic of a game and boom, sorry, you blew that one. And we're talking about, I saw one in the Dodgers Diamondbacks game just literally like 5 minutes ago. That was split middle, and it was a ball. And if that's in the 8th inning in a playoff game, and now you have the challenge. So there's going to be strategery in there when you use them.
Yes.
So I'm excited to see how it is. It's not going to be a long process, which I'm really, really excited about, where it's boom, it's one of these. Yep. Everybody turns, average of 13 seconds. Hey, next pitch, let's go.
I'll save them.
So I'm excited.
I'll save them for all the 9th inning. If it's a playoff game and you need that goal,
what's the strategy?
Yeah,
that's a whole nother aspect of the game that the manager has to be like, all right, dang, I have. When should I throw my challenge?
Well, and also where that comes in, think about it. Think about if he steps on your toes and takes one away from you.
Mm-hmm. I know.
That's
so
why
I'm
I think
there's so many things I'm excited about.
If I was a manager and if
saving it for the 9th, like it's a ballsy move.
That's what I would do. I would save it for the 9th because in the 9th inning, if it's that 1 or 2 strikes that could win you the game, you're going to need those strikes because you could just say, I'm challenging it. That's a strike. And that could end the game.
I understand what you're saying, Arrow, but that could also
hurt you
in the 6th inning where you don't get the call and boom, 2-run homer. Yeah. Now you're not even in the situation to get the ninth inning call. So I'm like, there's been so many things I've looked at. I'm like,
Arrow, you don't always win the game in the 9th inning. Yes, that's when the game is over. But games are won 2nd inning, 3rd inning, 4th inning, 5th inning, 6th inning. So like at some point in one of those innings, you got to stop the bleeding. Do you throw the challenge flag?
You know, it's interesting because if the Yankees had that when Garrett Cole and the Yankees had a 5-0 lead in that bad inning, Some of those strikes, they were strikes, and they called it balls. Maybe the Yankees challenge that and get out of that inning, and maybe the Yankees win that game if they actually had this. So if you think about it, that could have changed the World Series. And it might change something in the playoffs this year that could cost.
Oh, it will.
Yeah. So it could cost other teams.
The other one
this
I
is
want
going to be it's crazy. This is going to be crazy. I mean, baseball fans, traditionalists might not like it, but like you said, we don't necessarily love the pitch clock, but fans are starting to adapt. And now that, they like it.
You don't even really notice it.
No, or like the left-handed one-out guy, right? Like the loogie.
I still hate that.
Hey, I like it because we're traditionalists, because we don't care how long the game's being played, because we just love to play. But people are now gambling, and they're probably gambling on game times, I'm sure, and everything. You can gamble on everything, and it's like.
The other strategy thing I think you guys didn't mention yet is would you want to use it? Let's say there's like a 6 or 7 hitter that maybe draws a walk that gets on base or something like that. Do you want to use it then? Think you can extend the inning because this guy doesn't normally get on base? Do you want to use it for how many outs there are in the inning too? In addition to when in the game you use it too, it's very interesting. And then lastly, Goody, I want to mention the comment I texted you a few months ago. Remember when I texted you about Stephen Kwan getting screwed by all those borderline calls? Yeah. Double the amount of the next league. I'm sure he's happy about this rule.
Yes. Stephen Kwan will for sure benefit from this rule. Absolutely.
I want to say something. Could I say something? The Guardians were trading pieces away at the trade deadline.
Well, that's my next. You want to just jump into it?
Oh, I didn't even know that.
We'll go right into ball two right here. Ready?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Let me. These things blow my mind. All right. So back around the All-Star break, Cleveland's odds to win the AL Central were plus 15,000. Meaning they had like a 0.66 chance. Okay. 0.66 is clearly not a lot. Now, you fast forward this week, and they're now 225 favorites over Detroit in sports books, like big ones like BetMGM. It's like, dude, it just blows my mind what they're doing right now. Like, they literally had Mount Everest to climb. What were they, like 15 and a half games back? And they're there, and they've eclipsed it. And they're young, which is crazy.
It's so funny, and this reminds me.
People crapped on Stephen Vogt. Like they were crapping on him. Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? But the manager matters. Tito matters. Stephen Vogt matters, and look what's happening. It's no coincidence.
You know what this reminds me of? Anybody remember the St. Louis Blues? Remember they fire their coach before the All-Star break. And then they bring in Craig Berube, and they had the worst record in hockey, okay? It was so bad. And then all of a sudden after the All-Star break, St. Louis went on this. They traded away pieces. Nobody thought they had any chance of making the playoffs. They come all the way back, got hot in the second half of the NHL season. They wind up one of the top teams in the Western Conference, and they go on a run, and they win the Stanley Cup, okay? I remember it. It was unbelievable. And the chances of it was even higher than 1,500. I think it was like 2,500, all right? There was no way.
Like, dude, what clicks for teams?
I don't know.
Like,
coaching.
I think
managing.
Coaching matters, but I think it's when everybody's like energy matches. It's not like you're not just playing for yourself. You're playing for something bigger.
I've said it. I think the Guardians, their manager is going to win Manager of the Year. I think he absolutely should after watching what the Guardians have done. And just think about it. Like you just said, Goody, when you look at the team and look at the organization as a whole, I said it. Go look at the Guardians' record in the second half of the season in the last 3 years. If you compare it, it's almost identical in 3 years. I said this, and I said it before the All-Star break. I wouldn't be surprised if the Guardians make a run and they sneak into the playoffs. Did anybody think that this team was going to win the division?
Like at the midseason, like at the trade deadline, we lost Clase, who was supposed to bring in a ton of whatever he wanted. Basically, you could command whatever you want for Clase. And then we also lost Luis Ortiz, multiple injuries, guys coming up and down. Like,
we got rid of Bieber.
I mean, it's like it's just been boom, boom, boom. And then they also started, what did they do, like a 6-man rotation at some point. and they're just trying everything they can to win. And then, to me, this shows like this team is super resilient. And I know they're young, but it's like I don't know if they necessarily know what they just did, like overcoming 15 and a half games and the most in history. But I think this team is like it reminds me a lot of the team I was on in 2017 when we won 22 in a row. Like they're just synergizing. We're all on the same like wavelength. It's
it's cool. You
like
see
you
guys
black
like Bo Naylor, who was literally garbage all year, and I'm not talking trash, literally and figuratively, but he just wasn't good. And then somehow he figured out, he changed his stance, and he's hitting over 300 in this last stretch. And dude's figured out, and that's buying in. That's understanding, like, hey, we believe in each other. Like, we know we have a mountain to climb. We're like, so let's just win one game.
Yeah, did you see Kyle Riley's speech afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, dropped the F-bomb on TV, and the guys were like,
let it
we
fly.
are sorry.
You know?
Kyle Riley's emotional remarks.
Yeah. It's fun to see. That's why you never know. That's why sometimes I'm like, I love that wild card game where it's win or go home. Now it's you got the 3, but it's crazy to see some of these deficits and I've always wondered, do you look at it more so as them like, is it a full derailment of the team that was in the lead, or do you like give the team credit for coming back and not looking at the number? Like, because obviously people just have to diarrhea on themselves to lose a 15 and a half. So like, do you give more credit to the team that's overcoming that, or do you like, man, they just really blew it?
I think in Cleveland's case you have to, because of what Goody described. Like, they have all this adversity they have to overcome with the scandals that are going on with their pitching. They traded other stuff away. They lost a lot of their starting rotation. And like
you see what winning does.
Yeah.
Winning helps you forget about that other stuff,
right?
Isn't it? Yeah, that's wild, dude. And like, think about everything that they had to have overcome, and all that on Steve Vogt too. He's
and they have a lot of like
imagine.
They have not just Naylor. They have a lot of those other guys that are like random platoon players. Like, what was it? Schneeman is the outfielder that he's broken out recently.
Oh yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah, he's played very well. They have a
There's
lot of
bunch
those.
of dude, like, if you aren't a baseball fan, you'd probably know about 12% of that roster.
Yeah, maybe 2. You would know Jose Ramirez and
he's thinking.
Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, I mean,
not really.
There's not very many.
Maybe Stephen Kwan.
But I will.
But
say,
even him,
I will
he's
say
quiet.
this.
Like, he's not
right.
I will say this. You see, everybody was going back and forth about Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. I don't think it's an argument. I think, Jabba, you're right. Aaron Judge is absolutely the MVP of the league. I don't care what Cal Raleigh did when it came to home runs and as a catcher. Aaron Judge coming back from the injury that he's had and still keeping his numbers up at 320 for all the season. At one point for 2 months, he was hitting over 400. I'm sorry. I think Aaron Judge is the absolutely going to run away. As good as Raleigh's been.
I saw somebody tweet out that if Cal Raleigh loses 180 points on his OPS, he's an average baseball player. If Aaron Judge loses 180 on his OPS, he's Cal Raleigh.
He's still like, yeah.
He's Cal Raleigh. If he loses 180 on his OPS, he's Cal Raleigh. I was like, man.
Yeah. It is crazy that too. Listening to Tom Verducci talk, and one of the dudes that I very envy for just the brilliant mind that he has in baseball, and he was touched on Cal. Like, Cal's going to play in 159 games. Like, that's unheard of, and not only he hit his 59th tonight.
Yes,
but you got to forget, you guys forget he's a platinum Gold Glove catcher. Like, his defensive run saves are crazy. Like, and to be able to stay locked in and be the quarterback and call pitches and be invested in not only that, and then be able still to do what you do. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him, because if it wasn't for Aaron Judge, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. And for the same reason, and we'll get into that more, but it's just, it's crazy to see these guys and these teams that you don't like. And Cal Raleigh obviously signed a decent deal, but you didn't really know who he was. And the best is, like, he only hit like 30 homers or something. They're like, oh, I can't wait till he gets tested and get caught. Like, man, stop drinking the haterade, people. Just when a dude, give props where props are due. Like, man, there's so much hate in this world. Like, just big ups to the man for doing it. And, like, just because want Judge to win. Like, does Judge deserving to win? Yeah. Like, and I mean, look at this. If it ain't for Cal Raleigh, Judge wins the Triple Crown.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Judge is the best hitter in the league, but then the defensive metrics come into play because the catcher, like you said, and the catcher catches and throws just as much, if not more, as the pitcher. And how many defensive runs does he save versus how many has Aaron Judge saved in right field? And how do you quantify that? Like, that's what they're trying to do. And
we'll get into that deeper next week, Goody. We'll get into that deeper.
It blows my mind. I don't know.
Blows my mind how you blow a 15.5 game lead is what blows my mind.
That was wild. I mean,
they didn't know 6-2, and then they went to the World Series.
That's Detroit.
I don't even know what to say, dude. That's crazy.
That's Detroit. Gutterville, as I call them. I know Jabba doesn't like that, but I used to call him Gutterville.
Oh, God. What did Jeff call them? He was trashing Detroit one time.
I mean, just to get back kind of like on track, now Cleveland has all the momentum in the world. They have all the momentum in the world. They just won tonight. You beat Scooble, their best pitcher, and now you win again tonight. And it's just, and you have different guys from that team stepping up. Like, I know one of my buddies they're close with Detroit, and he's like, dude, Cleveland. He's like, we don't know. We can't figure them out. It's just, it's crazy. Season's been crazy.
All right. Do we have one more?
Yeah, one more.
One more.
Did you see Belichick was on the cover of U.S. Weekly?
Oh, I did, yeah.
After his 0-4 start, dude, they just came down here to UCF and got beat by UCF.
Yeah.
University of North Carolina came down and beat UCF. Blows my mind. Anyways, I think Billy Bees is the swaggiest coach in college football. He does it all except win.
He's swaggy, all right. He's got a woman that's wearing, boots, barely anything. She might as well walk on the sidelines topless because that's all anybody is talking about right now. They don't care about Bill Belichick. They care about his woman strutting herself up and down the line and really making all the calls. It really has nothing. If I was a recruiter, if I'm a kid that I'm getting recruited by Bill Belichick, I'm telling Bill to have his woman recruit me. I don't want to see your ugly face. I want to see your woman come and speak to me.
Right, so how do you think that plays out?
She's in the if she's like
100%.
Could you imagine
100%?
And think about this. We have kids, Goody. Like, just put okay, our kids play football and they're getting recruited by North Carolina. Could you imagine going in there expecting Bill Belichick to talk to you and then literally Jordan or however she says it, and she starts talking? I don't know what I would do as a parent because you're obviously seeing it right now. And I don't know if you guys have seen some of the memes are hilarious, and then some of the people talking about it, they've never seen something like this. And I guess I never paid attention enough to where this was even a conversation.
Mick Jagger had a kid at 80 with however old his wife was.
Yeah.
I mean, it still works. I mean, that guy's a rock star.
You know what I would do if I was the father and my kid was sitting there and he was trying to get recruited by her? I'd be like, show me some booby, I'll get him in school. Show me some booby. I want to see some booby.
But I mean, good for her. She's pulling it off, I guess.
She's pulling it off, all right.
What I want to know is get your perspective on what do you think what do you think the guys in the locker room are thinking?
Oh, I can tell you what they're thinking.
Coach is macking it, son. He's 80. He's the dream. That's the dream.
What makes me, if I was a player and I'm going over there and I want to be coached by Bill Belichick, and I see his woman, 24 years old, who's just as young as maybe the oldest player on my team, okay? And I see her strutting herself during practices and with practically nothing on, and she looks like a cheerleader, Sincerely, I'd be upset if I'm a star player and I'm going over there. There was a couple of offensive linemen that went into the portal that were going to be high draft stock players going into the portal this year to go and work with Bill Belichick because he's got all the means of getting you into the NFL and being successful. I would not be happy that I'm seeing his woman walk up and down and strut herself and speak for him and doing the things, and there's video and pictures, and I wouldn't be happy if I was a recruit and I know that it's my final year.
Would you let your son go to UNC?
No. No. No.
There you go.
Not at all. And that's why I think UNC football is never going to get over the hump, and Bill Belichick is going to say either I'm going back to the NFL or this isn't going to work. This trial is not working. And I will say this, the only reason why he took that job is because he wants to be like his father. His father coached UNC. That was why he took the job. Or I think
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. He wanted the whole thing is Atlanta should have hired him. Correct. The Falcons should have hired him. That would have been the best hope for them.
Do you think he'll live out his
no.
tenure there in his contract?
No, I think another year of this, and he's going to say, if I want to still coach, I'm going back to the NFL. I have a better chance of winning in the NFL. There's no way. There'll be teams next year that are going to open up, big-name teams. If Green Bay fails this year to win a Super Bowl, next year their coach, as good as he's been, could be on the hot seat because that team is loaded. And if they can't get to the Super Bowl this year and next year, they could be looking for a new coach. And if they think Bill Belichick is the answer to get you over the hump, that's where he would go. So he's going to go to a Super Bowl contender if he leaves UNC. But no, if I'm a recruit, I don't want any bit of any of the challenge that I have to deal with on the sidelines with that friggin' woman walking up and down the sidelines and trying herself. I would just get sick, and I'd be like, I'd honestly probably get kicked off the team because I'd be saying all these weird things to her. So I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
An old man in his 70s macking that? I mean, come on. We all know there's money behind that. She's walking with her Louis Vuitton bags.
Maybe she likes older dudes.
She
man.
does not. And
Maybe
by the
it's
way,
true love.
how many Viagra pills is that man popping every single night before he gets into bed? That guy's gonna have a massive heart attack on the sidelines before you know it. I mean, that's what.
Maybe probably. I mean, he's got a good ticker, obviously.
He's got a ticker, all right. It's ticking.
He'll have a heart attack on the sidelines and not show any emotion like he always does.
You know what
just a number, Errol.
There's a lot of numbers that I would like to spit out. What Bill Belichick is holding when it comes to age is a number that I do not want to ever concede to invest into a 24-year-old woman. Okay, that's sad. Okay, that's sad. That if I was a father of hers, I would be upset. I would be really, really upset. I'd be like, what the hell do you see in a 77-year-old man? Okay, it's definitely not his pork rind in his pants. Okay, all right, it's definitely not that.
Am I misspoken here? Like she had like a book autographed by him when she was like 12.
I think so. I don't know what the hell is up with her father. I mean, our father, who's probably younger, 50 years old. I mean, he's 20 years older than her father. And he's allowing this disgustingness. I mean, this is disgusting. All right, I don't like it because Bill Belichick is not doing his job. His mind is not into football. No, it's into titties and ass. That's what I would be. That's what my mind will be in. Oh my God, I can't wait to mac that thing. Oh man, I'm gonna get her in that. I'm gonna get her in that Louis Vuitton. I don't know that. I bought her a Louis Vuitton bag. I'd rather her just wear that.
The Louis Vuitton cut up hoodie.
Something, man. I mean, could you imagine her wearing Bill Belichick's half cut, hoodies? Right. You just see the bottom of her boobies. I'm not going to say what I really want to say. And you see that thing strutting on the sidelines.
Lord.
I'm telling you, man. I'm sick. I'm sick to my stomach. All right, let's get off of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's that smell?
Hold up. What is that smell?
What's that smell?
Wow, you don't see that every day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's that smell? And we're going to get Jarrett in here because we don't have fish. And what we're going to do, it's pretty simple. What we do is we go around, we tell a story, and we're going to tell you what it smells like. So tonight, for the first time on What's That Smell, I think this is his first time, right?
Yeah, Jarrett done do last.
All right, we're going to get Jarrett as our first guy. We're going to have Poops as our second guy. We're going to have Speedy as our third guy. We're going to have Goody as our fourth guy. Then Jabba, or Joba, then me. Here we go.
Look
Nice
at
shirt,
Jared
bro.
is literally pandering with all of us. Like he went Daniel Jones, and he was talking about how sweet it was. Now he's got an LSU shirt on.
It's all a plan.
Brilliant.
Glory hole.
That's tight.
Hey, next you'll have to wear a leash on your neck for Nithin. So
Oh,
I don't know if you want
I'm putting you on a leash now. A lot of hot ladies.
Oh, goodness.
I've got a new one for you. Have you heard the new ones?
Double fisting.
What does it say?
Double fisting.
Double fisting.
Double fisting.
Double fisting.
Oh, my gosh.
Thumb up my ass.
Don't you love Nithin?
Poops gets no cooch.
The best is he does this voluntarily. Like it's not like, hey, we're gonna give you $100 to do these. Like, let me just do it.
I told Errol the next one he has to do is one for Jeff.
Jabba likes my shrimp cocktail.
Great.
All right, Jared, let's get it.
All right. This is from last week, actually. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver was caught in a bit of a lie by the great Pablo Torre. He's done an amazing job covering this Clippers story. He said in the first press conference, and I quote, "Frankly, I never heard of the company Aspiration before. It was all new to me." Then, the next night, Pablo Torre came out with a report that said every single sponsorship goes through the NBA, especially one that was worth over $300 million. So how did Adam Silver not know about this? Silver immediately then went on the air the next day and said, "I said I never heard of it. I meant in the context of the accusations here, I was certainly aware of the brand." He said the first time, "I never heard the company Aspiration for." He is completely lying out of his ass right now. He is either A, lying about that he had never heard of it, that he had heard of it and he was covering something up beforehand. He knew very well what was going on with Aspiration with Steve Ballmer. Or he's just lying that it never came across his desk and he's not the one doing those things. So either it's just a bad look or it's a major scandal. Either way, it smells awful. It smells like the 1,160 toilets at the Intuit Dome right now. There's something deep going on at the Intuit with the NBA and this whole scandal. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it ain't going to be good.
All right. Yeah,
All right,
Silver and that gang over there in the NBA is definitely quite the spectacle. But I'm going to I try not to kind of stay on the same topic with my What's That Smells back-to-back week. But I have to go back to some wrestling because I was already conversating with Jabba and Jared in the chat last show and already got their opinions. But oh my God, for the first ever pay-per-view on ESPN for WWE, WrestlePalooza was absolutely garbage. It was hot trash. All the matches on that card absolutely were underwhelming besides one match, which was the women's match to crown a women's world champion. Now that the title is no longer vacant. However, it was very poorly done. The return of AJ Lee, the match was very underwhelming. Like I said, the match between Brock Lesnar and John Cena for the last time ever, absolutely a squash match. I don't even know what they were thinking with that match. And on top of that, I want to mention how a lot of people that I know personally as well, all over Twitter, all over the world, were not even able to watch the pay-per-view. They were having troubles right out of the gate from trying to purchase the $30 price tag on ESPN. So it was just a huge mess. I ended up getting a VPN. Anybody that's watching, make sure you get your VPN and go on Netflix and watch it because that is the only way you can actually watch it
Ass liquor.
reasonably. So what does it smell like? It smells... Oh, and I'd even mention ESPN as well gave WrestlePalooza a C rating. So that's pretty embarrassing, the fact that their own network gave it a C rating. But it honestly smells like a palooza of turds excreting or exasperating... or seeping from a clogged toilet over in Indiana. So
Poops gets no cooch.
there we go.
All right.
Scoop sits on the shitter.
Good to you. Talked about Belichick and Jordan Hudson's relationship. I'm going to stay in college football with another relationship, and that is Lane Kiffin's daughter.
Thumb up my ass.
Landry Kiffin is come out on Instagram that she is dating LSU linebacker Whit Weeks, and posted on Instagram. LSU's best player, LSU's best linebacker, something like that. The only LSU linebacker I'll respect. And The linebacker Weeks responded in the comment section. I've heard he's a pretty good guy as well. And actually, Lane Kiffin and his petty self goes, bet the over in this game. And we're playing mind games with these guys. This is peak mind games right there as LSU will take out Ole Miss at Ole Miss this Saturday. Number 3 versus number 13 in the country. Very funny story. What does it smell like? Well, there's a dairy plant in Mississippi called Cojuco that apparently smells like spoiled milk. So that smells like Giants legend Evan Engram, an Ole Miss alum, sitting in that lagoon for the entire game.
Breaking news. I got to go back off now.
You got to root for Lane Kiffin. He's from Lincoln.
Oh.
You got to root for Weeks.
Goody has no Woody.
He's in Kiffin.
Wilk Weeks apparently had enough of a Woody to get her.
I have no
All right. Just whip this one up. Did anybody see this? Peter Fairbanks blew a kiss
Busy
to
all
the
day
Orioles.
today.
It looked like the Orioles dugout, but now he's saying that the kiss was meant towards a fan, and it looks to me like he's backtracking on what he was actually, like he hit the guy, apologized, and now he blew a kiss to him because he shut him down. And now he goes into the media, and he has to come up with some story to make him look like a good guy. Smells pretty fishy to me. Like, I don't know. Opening up tuna cans and sticking them under your girlfriend's car seat and letting it simmer in the sun.
Smell my ass. Breaking news. I need Brittany also.
You sure that's the car seat or just not her?
Yo.
Good.
My dad said that he did that to somebody in
job.
high school. Yeah. And
Go
they
suck
said they
on an
could not
egg
find
and-
it, and their whole car smelled like tuna for
Like the streaks in my britches.
Goody, you want some Cojuco dairy plant spoiled milk topped on that tuna to add to it?
Yeah, just pop it. Oh my gosh! Could you
I'll
imagine?
let you lick my butt. No, that's gross. Yeah, there'd be none of that going on. This dauber in the dirt. Yuck. Yuck.
You're the one who said it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, but not about that. I guess
Pulled it out of my ass.
Yeah, for sure. All right, is it my turn yet?
It's your turn.
I'm going George Springer crying per kind of the usual. As he hits a ball down the line and then he gets in. Tough call either way. I will give him that. But at the same time, then he's gone and you see him in the dugout just absolutely moaning. Like, if you just want to give it to New York, just give it to him. Like, blah, like what? Like, first of all, grow up. Second of all, grow up. Third of all, grow up. And you know what it smells like? You've already cheated once. You're trying to cheat again. It smells like not only tuna under the seat, but her legs spread, even making it smell worse when it's Shark Week.
This makes my pecker hard.
That does not.
Dude, what are we doing?
Like the streaks in my britches.
Oh, the wheels always fall off in this segment every time.
All right, the final What's That Smell goes to get ready, guys, Indiana Fever. It is unbelievable what's going on right now without Caitlin Clark, Sophia Cunningham, Aaliyah Boston, Chloe Bibby, Lexi Hall, Kelsey Mitchell. Oh, my God. They have one more game left. If they win this game, they're going to the WNBA Finals without Caitlin Clark. Who would have thought this to happen? Their best player, one of the best players in the WNBA, was lost really for almost a month and a half, and then going into the playoffs, knocking off the champion Liberty, knocking off that team, and then the Liberty firing their coach right after that loss, who just won a championship last year and went to a Eastern Conference Finals the year before, and then they fired their coach right after that loss. It's unbelievable what the Fever is doing. If they win a championship without Caitlin Clark, does Caitlin Clark come back for the WNBA championship to help them win? I mean, it is an unbelievable story. If they do it, congratulations to them. What a remarkable run. What a remarkable run. What it smells like, It smells.
What does that smell like?
It smells like roses coming out of Nithin's ass.
Wow. So it smells like kind of good, but a lot more bad.
Breaking news.
I don't
You
know.
want to jerk
I don't
me
know.
off?
Sophie Cunningham is Jabba's girl. I don't know.
Breaking news. Speedy's mom. I gotta go back off now. They call me the ladies'
I'm putting
man
you on
and
a
Mrs.
leash now.
Stereo Girl.
This guy is out of his mind. I seriously think this guy is out of his mind. These takes are some of the. I tell him to do something, and this guy will he will do anything.
Blowjob.
I mean, everything.
I love Lisa Ann.
I mean, he definitely loves Lisa Ann. This man has been trying to get Lisa Ann on this show. Lisa Ann on this show. I call her Lisa Man because she's been with every single man. But I mean, it's. Has anybody seen the movie Juana Man? Has anybody seen that movie? That movie is hilarious.
It's funny.
It is a funny movie. I can watch that over and over and over again and laugh every single time. Nithin reminds
Some good quality acting.
Nithin reminds me of the guy that plays Juana Man. Okay, reminds me just like him.
Who was that? What was his name?
What's his name? Because that's who Nithin reminds me of.
From Juana Man?
Juana Man.
Yeah.
So who's the actor that plays Juana Man? He reminds me of that guy. His personality, his craziness. Yes. I've seen his stand-up. I think Nithin, even though he's never done stand-up, I think he'd be very, very funny because I really don't think he knows where he is half the time. I really don't believe.
Michael Nunez?
Yeah. Is it Michael Nunez? Is it him? All right. Well, that's.
Doo-doo. Fish is not a panty dropper.
That's for sure.
No, he's a grumpy old man.
We'll have to ask Crystal if he's a panty dropper. She'll probably say yes.
I have no sack.
We know he has no sack. Anyways, thank you to the the old Steelers wannabe. No, I'm just kidding. Jack Sperry for joining us. We love you. Thank you, Jack, for joining us and filling in Save Your Tears and all the different stuff because we didn't have Goodwood. He's coaching. He's doing some good things right now with the youngsters. So, but we're happy to have Goody. Goody's been on both shows this week. We love it.
Goody, you missed Save Your Tears where you could have taken Trey Tucker.
That's right.
I did.
Oh, he could.
This is what happens. You know what
we?
At the ballpark.
You know what we played? We played Save Your Sperry, as we said, because we added Sperry to the Save Your Tears. Anyways, thank you to Fish. Happy birthday to the one and only Crystal, but a very happy 40th to Jabba Chamberlain. Speedy, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
No, we're not. No,
two,
we're not. I'm logging off
three.
of this.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jabba.
Big 4-0.
Happy birthday to you.
Droba.
Oh, yeah.
Droba. Ass liquor.
That's it. 40
Well,
no.
now you want to talk about somebody's ears. My ears are not going to work either.
You know, it's
Doo-doo.
it is doo-doo.
My pinky is bigger than yours.
It probably is. Anyways, thank you to all the fans tuning in to us on Spotify and Apple. All 200,000 downloads from last month. Thank you to all the fans. Thank you to our YouTube subscribers and all the YouTube followers tuning in and checking out our stuff. We have a new trailer that's going to be up. We're doing some new stuff on the YouTube channel, so stay tuned for that. Thank you to all the guys and girls following us on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook. All of them. Jabba in the mouth. We really appreciate you guys. Keep listening to us. Keep following us. We'll be on next week, Monday and Wednesday. I'm actually going to Florida on Thursday, Goodwood. So I will be down there for a week. I'll be missing one show the week after. We're going to move this. Jabba will talk about this during our moving the show the week after on a Thursday. So I'll be there for the Thursday. So Monday, I will not be there. Fish will be helping out. So
Okay, hurry up. I have to pee.
all right, relax.
Double fisting.
That's what he wants to do. He wants to double fist. Anyways,
No, I just got to pee.
all right, he's got to pee his pants. Jabba's got to pee. You got to get that. I got to pee.
I gotta pee.
I got to pee. Anyways, that's it. Good night. Farewell. Have a good weekend. Jabba's 40.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.